Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to How to Kill Chronic Painkillers, Death Grip on You Without Depending on Doctors, Insurance and Pharmaceutical Companies, or the government. I'm going to share the weird secret that allowed me to kick chronic pain to the curb in less than 30 days and how you can ethically knock it off and get your life back too. I want to make a quick disclaimer. I can guarantee you're not going to kill all of your pain overnight. You're not going to be pain-free overnight, especially if you don't do anything with what I'm about to share with you today. At first, I just wanted to get some pain relief. I wanted to be able to get out of bed and leave the house. I wanted to get my life back. When I first became chronically ill and experiencing chronic pain, I was in college and I just wanted desperately to finish school, to live the American dream, to go get a job, have a relationship, have a family and some kids someday, you know, the whole white picket fence thing. I wanted to live the life that I always thought that I would be living. I got all of that and way, way more. And it wasn't because my doctors and the people caring for me gave me any hope in my future. I'm currently living what I call the pajama grandma life, and I'll share a little bit more about that with you. As you can see, I am in my pajamas because I get to do what I want when I want, and I can wear whatever I want. So if I want to talk to you in my pajamas at 10 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock at night or noon, I am now free and able to do that. And I want to make sure that you can do the same thing. So just so you don't think it's me and it's only me that this has worked for, I want to share a couple of stories with you throughout this little web class. And Julie was one of the first chronic pain sufferers that I shared painkillers with. And she says, in just a week, I was able to get out of bed and go to work helping my sister in her food business. I never would have thought I could stand on hard tile for 8 minutes, much less 8 hours. Thank you, painkillers, for giving me back my life. Julie Rose. Julie has got one of the most incredible medical histories I have ever encountered in my life. I mean, we all think that our situation and our pain is the worst in the whole wide world. And I mean, I know I felt that way when I was younger. And sometimes when I have a really bad flare, I still feel that way. But I know it's not true because I've heard Julie's and so many other people's stories that make mine look like a walk in the park. So I want to ask you, just as we get started, the things I'm going to share in this webinar alone are really, really powerful. And I want to make sure that you're going to use them to create your incredible life, but not to hurt anybody else or harm anybody else, no matter how much you think that they might have harmed you throughout your chronic pain journey and throughout this process. Just promise me that you'll use what I'm sharing to make your life incredible, and then that you'll go on and share it with other people that you know have chronic pain and are suffering too, so that they can do the same for their lives. So who is this for? Well, if you have chronic pain, like me now, this is for you. If you don't have chronic pain, but you think you may be one of the 1.5 billion people in the future, because right now there's 1.5 billion people that have chronic pain in this world. And that number is continually increasing. And unfortunately, there isn't enough or much even being done about it. Look at what's going on with the opioid crisis. Many chronic pain sufferers who depend on their medication just to help them lead somewhat of a functional life are losing their prescriptions and their ability to function and are going backwards in their journey. And that's definitely a reality that's going on right now. I'm hoping and I plan to be a part of the difference that makes that stop and that not be a reality. But for right this minute, there are so many people having to deal with that situation. Also, if you know anyone who has chronic pain, this is for you too, because I recently asked the question in some Facebook groups and in some forums online, what is your biggest challenge with chronic pain? And I asked it to people that have chronic pain. And one of the number one things they responded was that other people don't understand. They don't really know how to help me. They don't believe me. And not just their friends and family, but their healthcare providers, nurses, doctors, hospital emergency rooms. They don't believe that chronic pain sufferers can possibly be in as much pain as we are. They don't know how we could be in that much pain and not be, you know, doubled over or screaming in agony on a cot, because most people in the level of pain that we've learned to deal with and tolerate and live with in our lives, They would be screaming on a cot or screaming in a hospital bed or in the ER waiting room because they wouldn't be able to stand or tolerate the amount of pain that is just a Tuesday for you and I. So what the heck is painkillers, and do I really need one in my life? Well, these are just a couple of pictures of me, and the one on the left is actually where I had a sudden cardiac arrest and passed away. Now, obviously, since I'm talking to you right now, it didn't stick, and I am here sharing some of my experiences with you and the things that I've learned that have helped me deal with chronic pain. And then, so yes, chronic pain can kill you. Chronic pain will kill you. And you might be saying, okay, well, we're all going to die someday, Sharon. But of course, that's true. But we don't have to go any sooner than is planned. And we don't have to let chronic pain steal our lives and take us any sooner than we are divinely designed to leave and transition to another state or die or whatever you believe. And then the picture on the right is me last fall on Halloween. I dressed up as a fairy godmother because I have been so blessed in my life that I wanted to share blessings with other people as well. So do you need a painkiller in your life? Well, do you want to kill your pain? Are you ready to stop letting pain F with your life? Pretty easy yes or no question. And do you want to start living the life of your dreams? Have you put your life on hold enough? Have you had to say no to enough things yet that you're willing to be open to what I have to share today because you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're sick and tired of hurting all the time. You're sick and tired of people treating you like crap or saying that, oh, well, you don't look sick. Oh, I broke my leg once, so I know how you feel. Yeah, really? I don't think so. So that's the question. Do you need a painkiller in your life? Well, if you're ready to kill your pain and live the life you deserve, absolutely you're ready. Here's just some pictures of my family, and they're my why. They're why I started this major push and journey toward killing chronic pain in my life, because I didn't want to miss out on these incredible human beings. And you shouldn't be missing out on the experiences that you can have with the incredible human beings in your life, or the ones that will come into your life as you get your chronic pain handled. So my goal for this web class is really simple, and it's twofold. Number one, the only way for you to get your life back is through killing your chronic pain. And number two, I want to show you that the only way to kill your chronic pain is through painkillers. So let's get started. Also, I have a gift for you just for staying to the end. I call it the Painkillers Energy Shot, and I guarantee that if you use this, you will reduce, if not eliminate, your chronic pain and be able to live the life that you deserve. This thing I'm giving you for free just for staying to the end, because I know that everybody deserves to be living the life of their dreams. We all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to be healthy. We all deserve to have an awesome life. And chronic pain, we've let chronic pain steal so much from us, and it's time to stop that. And I know that this Painkillers Energy Shot will help you to do that. So I also want to ask you to just pay attention. If you'd shut the door, put your phone in the other room, and I'm guilty, my phone is not in the other room, so it will probably ring sometime during this little web class, because that is Murphy's Law. If I think it won't and I should have put it in the other room, I know I should have put it in the other room because it's going to ring. Give multitasking a rest. You owe it to yourself to pay attention to this, to what I have to say. It's time to end the struggle. If you're ready to end your struggle, give me your full attention. I like to think I'm the queen of multitasking, but let's be honest. If I want to learn something or figure something out or really absorb something, I have to pay attention. I have to give it my all so that I can get out of it what I need to hear to take the steps I need to take to get what I want. And I suspect you're probably the same way. So who the heck am I, and why should you listen to me? As I said, my name is Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. Yep, one of those goofy hyphenated names. And now I'm divorced, so it's really silly that it's still goofy, long, and hyphenated. But I really love my initials because they're S-H-E, and I think that's great initials. So I actually have kept my hyphenated name. I have spent the last 37 years thriving in spite of chronic pain and illness. And I would say some of those years I wasn't necessarily thriving. So of those 37 years, probably 5 of them on and off throughout my journey sucked and I wasn't thriving. I don't want you to think that you're going to hear what I have to say today and tomorrow and then forevermore, you're never going to have any pain in your life. I deal with a lot of young people these days and it's really, really frustrating for me. They just want to be numb, a lot of them, and I can't help them because our life is about all of the emotions that we get to experience, and pain is one of those signals and emotions. If there's pain in our lives, it's there for a reason. It's telling us, pay attention to this already. And if we have chronic pain, it's because we're not paying attention and we haven't been paying attention for a long time. And I'll get into that later about how we have to figure out what that root cause is if we're really going to solve our chronic pain. Told you the phone would get me. I've had amazing coaches and mentors over the past 40 years in all areas of my life. I've had several business and real estate, business, marketing, management, quality, because I was a corporate quality manager for a couple of decades in this whole realm of things. And those business coaches actually have taught me a lot about life, and I've been able to apply some of those business lessons to my ability to handle and deal with chronic pain. But I've also had personal development coaches, up to and including Tony Robbins, health coaches, nutrition coaches, pain management coaches. I personally have never been through psychological evaluations or shrinks. I just haven't chosen to go that route. I thought, as I've seen with other people that I know and love and care about, it's a long, drawn-out process, and it works for a lot of people. And if you need that, please go. I know my kids see counselors and professionals because I try to help them, but it's not my area of expertise, and I would not even want it to be or claim that it is. But for me personally, I go with the Tony Robbins approach, find out what's wrong, model people that are getting what you want, do that, do it fast, try a lot of stuff, figure out what works for me, and go. I don't have the time to sit and talk about the past with a counselor or I don't want to relive the past. I don't want to live in the past. I don't want to figure out all the reasons why I feel a certain way about a certain thing. I just want to change the way I feel about a certain thing. You will get to know that I am like super direct, and I want to get to the result and the answer of what works for me as quickly, as easily as possible. But nonetheless, I've spent 19,347 hours, and I'm a math nerd, so I went back and I tallied and tried to figure this out. And this is, of course, always counting because I'm always still studying and looking for new things. I started a new practice yesterday because I heard about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to try that. Our studying chronic pain, experimenting on myself, discovering what works and what is complete and other bullshit, and much, much more. Because I will tell you, and I'm sure you've already discovered if you've had chronic pain for any amount of time at all, there's a lot of crap out there that people try to sell you and tell you is the miracle cure and the end all be all of what will solve your fibromyalgia, your chronic pain, your rheumatoid arthritis, your heart disease, your sexual dysfunction, whatever, just by taking a pill. And I hate to break it to you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it ain't so. And I never use the word ain't hardly ever. So if I say it ain't so, I'm doing that for emphasis. I need you to know, and I think you already know at the bottom of your heart, that there isn't a magic solution. So I want to tell you a little bit about me and what happened to me that got me, number one, chronically ill, and number two, interested in this whole topic of killing pain and, reclaiming my life. When I was 21 years old, I was in college. I was a really healthy, happy college student, and I had worked really hard up until this summer between my sophomore and junior year. I'd worked really, really hard and saved a ton of money, so I didn't need student loans. And my sister, who also went to the same college as I did, we decided, I don't know why, we must have decided on the way home from college that instead of getting summer jobs, we were going to just lay by the pool, because my dad had put in a pool when we were younger girls because he wanted to always know where his daughters were. I'm from a family of 4 girls, and so he traveled a lot for his work, and he decided that it was a good strategy to put a swimming pool in so that everybody would be at our house and he would always know where we were. And actually, it was a really, really smart move because that's exactly what happened. We were like the house to go to in high school. So my sister and I are laying by the pool, enjoying our summer, really enjoying our summer, lazing and getting really tan. And my dad came home from work on Friday afternoon, what would be a Friday evening, and said, okay, girls, pack your bags. You need to be at the 3M plant in Valley, Nebraska for second shifts. You got to be there at about 1 p.m. so you can fill out forms and do paperwork for second shift on Monday. We were a little shocked and we complained to my mom a little bit, but she, of course, supported my dad in that it probably wasn't a great idea for us to just be sitting by the pool when there were 3 of us in college and 1 more was going to be in college in about a year. And that was pretty heavy burden to put on my parents. But, you know, when you're 21 and you're having fun, you don't necessarily think about the implications of your behavior on other people. But we packed my mom's car and we drove out to Valley, Nebraska. And it turned out to be probably, even now, the best summer of my life. It was so much fun, and my sister and I made new friends, and we had a terrific time living and working in Nebraska, of all places. Valley, Nebraska, if you don't know where that is, it's about a half-hour outside of Omaha. So we weren't too far from a bigger city, but it was definitely a very small town. It made the small town that I grew up in seem really, really big and metropolitan. So we're plugging away. We're going to work every night. I was actually making oil spill booms at the time. And I'm a little woman. I like to think I'm a big person, but I'm like, I say I'm 5'2", but I'm probably only 5'1.5". And back then, sopping wet, I weighed about 104, 105 pounds. And I was making oil spill booms. Does anybody know what oil spill booms are? They are giant tubes that we would blow this fibrous material into and then hook them off and put hooks on them and then roll them into these giant gaylords, and they ship them off on ships so that when there were oil spills in the ocean, you know, think BP not too many years ago, they spread these out and they absorb the oil so that it has less of an impact and it doesn't spread as quickly and kill all the wildlife and all the other bad things that oil spills do. But anyway, I am this tiny woman working in this incredibly hot, hard work, heavy duty working environment, but it was still super fun. But somehow over the course of that summer toward fall, I got really, really sick. And for some reason, I have blocked out the exact events leading up to that. And I need to probably do some mind work so I can tell my story better. But one of the things that saved me over the years is my ability to change the story in my head and change how I view events. And one of the events I blocked out was exactly how I got sick and ended up in the hospital. I know it had something to do with my kidney function and something to do with my eyes, because I spent the next week and a half going through a whole lot of very uncomfortable, very torturous, blood-sucking, literally, tests and procedures while I was in the hospital. And I was alone there. I was states away. I grew up in Wisconsin, was my hometown, and still is, by the way. And I was states away. The only person there was my sister and the friends we'd made over the summer, but they all had to work. So they came and they'd visit me in the morning, but they had to work in the afternoon and evening, and then the hospital was closed. So I really didn't have anybody but a couple of nurses to talk to. And I didn't know what was going on with me. I was scared. I was alone. I was worried about what the heck was going on because nothing was coming up in the tests. They weren't able to say, yeah, this is what was wrong with you. So they were pumping me full of drugs, pumping me full of all different things that they thought would help, and then doing all these tests and procedures to try to figure out what had caused this onset of, I had all kinds of systems in my body that were messed up and failing and causing me a lot of sickness and pain. My biggest worry at the time was I couldn't see. I had super bad, it seems now I've learned since then, inflammation in my eyes, but my vision was getting fuzzier and fuzzier and fuzzier, and I literally could not see. It was like looking through like big white clouds. If any of you have ever had cataracts, you can probably relate to what I'm talking to, but I've had cataracts and cataract surgery too, and it was way worse than that. It was like somebody had put Kleenexes in front of my eyes and I was trying to see through Kleenexes or something. I don't know, that's the best way I can explain it. But I was really worried about that because I felt like I was going blind, and none of the doctors or experts that I was seeing were able to tell me what was going on. But I started to get better. I started to respond to some of the treatments that they were doing, and I was well enough to leave the hospital. And not long after that, about a week or so after that, I wasn't allowed to go back to work, but I and my sister went back home. And that was really the kickoff and the beginning of my chronic illness journey and my chronic pain, the challenges I had with chronic pain moving forward. Because I didn't get better when I left Valley, Nebraska. I got progressively worse and worse and worse. And then I went through many, many, many different medical facilities and experts for different systems in my body because they were all being treated as separate things. And instead of anybody looking at me as one systemic whole person and whole human being, I had rheumatology looking at all of the inflammation issues that I was having. I had ophthalmology looking at the issues that were going on with my eyes. I had, all the different specialties, but they weren't really communicating with one another, which I found interesting and horrifying at the same time. But the fact was, I was now out of my life. I was experiencing lots of tests, and I was having escalating problems. I was a drugged up mess. I had no friends, no life. All my friends had gone back to college. My sister had gone back to college. I was stuck at home in bed, a lot of times in a really dark room, because part of what was going on with me was I was having intense migraines that would last anywhere from 3 to 7 days. So I would be laying in bed in the complete dark, quiet one end of our house because I needed it to be as quiet as possible. And just with living with my parents, living off my parents, which was devastating because here I thought in a year or two I would be graduating from college and supporting myself and living my own life. I wouldn't be dependent on other people. But the real kicker was when I got after a long, long time of this, I got to the point where my doctors and all the experts I had been seeing said, well, we're sorry, we can't help you. We don't know what to do. Now, at the time, I was 23 and a half years old, 24 maybe, and I'd gone through years of testing. I'd put my entire life on hold and spent all my time and energy, just trying to battle these diseases and counting on doctors and experts. I believed in my heart that they would have the answer for me, that they would figure out what was going on with me. They would tell me, they would say, this is what you need to do and you will be fine. You'll be back to normal and you can get back to living your life. And to get this news, to know that they weren't my saviors, they weren't the gods I had thought they were, and that they didn't have an answer for me was absolutely, positively devastating. And I woke up, and I shouldn't have switched to this slide so soon because this is part of what really helped me. But I remember laying in bed, and it was about the 4th day of a really bad migraine. And I woke up in the dark in a cold sweat. And, I would go from hot to cold sweats, which made no sense to me, but I would. And I woke up and I was laying in bed, and I remembered something my dad had told me and something he had taught my sisters and I. And my dad is so wise. He's definitely one of my heroes. And he always taught us girls a couple things. Number one, and I'll share another story later. I'm not gonna spoil it now, but one thing he taught us was a problem-solving and decision-making tool, which is what PSDM stands for. When I was in corporate America, I actually taught this strategy to the people that I worked with and the people that worked for me. Because like my dad, he knew that a house full of girls, it was hard to get a decision made and to get us all moving on the same track. Say he wanted to take us out for dinner, he would pick the restaurant because he knew between the 5 of us, it wasn't going to get decided. But he taught us this decision-making tool. And all it is you take a piece of paper, you fold it down the middle, you put a plus on one side, a minus on the other, and you write down all of the benefits of something or all the reasons to do something or all the negatives about that decision or all the reasons not to do something. And I still use this strategy today if I'm trying to make a decision and I'm not super clear on what direction I want to take. I will do this. I actually use this to decide if I should marry my husband or not. Now, he's my ex-husband now, so maybe I didn't do a very good job of it, but at the time I thought I did. Fortunately, he found it, and he was a little miffed at the negatives that were on the list. And I'm like, buddy, there's way more positives than negatives, and I married you, didn't I? Lesson learned. You might want to burn these sometimes. You don't always want to keep these lists around, but it is a super easy strategy for getting very clear on what you should or shouldn't do, what is or isn't in your own best interest. And I used it when I would decide if I was going to take a job or not. I used it when I decided if I was going to interview with a company or not. I used it to decide where I wanted to go to eat. I used it to train my teams so that they could make good decisions together, because instead of them just emotionally deciding they would or wouldn't do something, they had to justify their reasons to the rest of the team by sharing their pluses and minuses for why they supported or didn't support a team decision. So it's a really, really simple but so powerful tool. I decided when I woke up there and was laying there, okay, I'm going to do that for myself. And what were my choices? Well, I was bedridden. And what was my alternative? I could, and so I did this. I listed out, and I didn't write it because I was in the dark. But later on, when I could get into the light again later that week, I did write these things down. I did actually do this simple little exercise in writing to get clear for myself what I had discovered in the next few minutes of laying in that bed. And so I thought, okay, well, I can't get out of bed. I'm drugged up, but I still hurt like hell. I only get out of this house and out of this bedroom for the most part to go to the bathroom, because my mom was kind of waiting on me hand and foot. My mom and dad were taking really good care of me, and they would actually bring me food and whatever else I needed to try to help me feel better. But I was really only getting out of the house for tests and doctor appointments. I had no friends, no relationships. My friends, again, were all back at school, living their lives and having a great time. And that included my sisters. You find over your lifetime that when you've got a family full of sisters, you guys are each other's best friends. And I really, really missed them. And I didn't have any relationships. I mean, it's not like I was dating when I was in bed all the time. I suppose some people that date are in bed all the time, but in a much more fun way than I was. I had no life. I was barely surviving. And with the news from my doctors and experts, I quickly had slipped into being hopeless. I didn't know what to expect for my future. I was depressed. And looking back now, I hate to admit it, but I'm sure I was suicidal as well, because I was scared. I was lonely. I didn't see any future ahead of me. And I didn't know what to do, because I had believed that the experts were going to help me. And if they couldn't help me, what the hell was I going to do? What hope did I have for a better future, or for any future at that point? But then I said, okay, you've done the one side of this equation, but what else is possible? Is anything else possible? And I remembered something else my dad said, and he always taught us girls, there's no such thing as can't. If you can't find a way, then you create one and you figure it out. There's nothing you cannot do if you set your mind to it. And at that very moment, I sat up in my bed and I said, fuck no. And you might be offended by hearing that, but I said that out loud. And just that small act of rebellion, because it was rebellion for me at the time. I had been laying down and taking whatever came my way up to that point. And that wasn't me. That is not who I was up until the point that I got sick. I was always, this kick ass and take names kind of girl growing up. I was the 3-year-old in the neighborhood that would put my thumbs through my belt loop and say, are you friendly to any new kid that came by? I wasn't the person that just laid down and died. And it took me sitting up and saying that out loud to take back my personal power and say, no, I hear what they're saying, but I don't have to accept that this is my life. And that's where I began my journey for answers to reclaim my life. 37 years later, there's been bumps in the road. I'm not going to let you think or believe that. I mean, you saw me dead, so you know that I've had some major bumps in my health and in my life and in my journey throughout the last 37 years. But I have also had an absolutely awesome and incredible life. I'm able now to live the pajama grandma life and spend time with whomever I want, when I want, doing pretty much whatever I want. Now, come on, there's some limitations. I'm not out rock climbing. I'm not out, climbing in the Himalayas or going through the mountains, although that's not off the table because I still want to do that. That's still on my bucket list, not to climb a mountain, but to hike through the Himalayas. I want to do that. I want to do the Andiano track. I want to hike in the Appalachian Mountains. I want to go on those trails. And I'm not going to be doing it hard, but I want to walk on those places and see those beautiful places and experience those things. And if I had stayed where I was, if I had decided that my life was over, I guarantee I would not be speaking to you right now. I wouldn't be here. And I know if you've got chronic pain, as hard as it is to admit, we have all had those feelings. We have all had those feelings of absolute dread and hopelessness and fear of the future. But I am here to tell you, you do not have to stay there. You do not have to live there. You do not have to believe anything that anyone outside of you has told you, because it is not true. And at that point, when I sat up and I said, fuck no, this is not my life. This is not going to be my life. I knew exactly what I had to do. I knew, and I don't know how I knew it, but I knew with like this flash of divine inspiration or something that I had to create my own health solution. I had to figure this out for myself. I had to become my own greatest science experiment. Now, the fact that I was studying engineering and I'm a total science and math and geek nerd didn't hurt me jump to the conclusion that I needed to become my own greatest science experiment, because it made trying to figure this all out exciting and fun. And I was curious about what I needed to do to get my life back. And that curiosity drove me through the times that I tried stuff that didn't work. But I began looking for all the possible ways that I could feel better. I figured if the doctors weren't going to be able to fix me and give me a magic strategy or pill, I was going to have to figure it out for myself. And at that same point, I realized there wasn't going to be a magic solution for me. I wasn't going to have the fairy godmother come and bless me with her magic wand and instantly everything would be hunky-dory back to normal for me. I was going to have to work at figuring it out. So I began looking at everything that could be possible. Some things that I tried and found and discovered worked really, really well. Most of the things I tried, and I will say the vast majority of the things that I tried, were a total waste of time and money and energy, and there were times I got frustrated and I just wanted to quit. But then I would find a little thing that made me feel better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And the secret to all of it was having my personal power back. The secret to being successful, profitable, healthy in my life, and having the life I always wanted and imagined for myself was in taking back my personal power, taking control of my own health solution, my own health situation, and using myself as a science experiment to figure out what worked for me. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I kept hearing from all the experts and all the specialists and all the doctors and all the nurses about, you're way too young to be having these symptoms and these things going on with you. You're way too young to have this going on in your body. You're way too young for this and that and everything. But I'm like, well, I might be way too young, but I'm going through it, so I need your help. But the problem was I had no idea how or what to do to figure out how to be my own health solution. Back in 1981, when I first got sick, and still in 1984, you will remember there was no internet. The internet wasn't available to the general public until 1991, I believe. So not for 10 years did the internet even become available. And I was not an internet early adopter. I was working in corporate America when it came about, actually in the newspaper industry. So I was not particularly computer and internet savvy when it came to, information and things like that. I had no resources when I began my journey. I was just a sick kid, according to everybody who was looking at me from the outside. And one of my most interesting discoveries was that nobody but me was really interested in my future or cared about my future. Now, you might be saying, well, the people that loved and cared about you care about your future. I'm like, yep, my parents cared about my future, and they were devastated at how sick I was and that I was having to experience the things I was. But the fact is, there was nothing they could do for me. Only I could find the solutions for me. Only I could look within me and determine and figure out what I needed to do for me. Nobody else can do that for me. No doctors, no experts, no specialists, no family, no friends, nobody but me. So my secret plan was to figure out the impossible. What everybody was telling me outside of me was impossible. My secret plan and my I'm going to do this no matter what plan was to figure out how to do the impossible. I love this saying by Audrey Hepburn, and I think my dad must have loved it too, because he said this to us a lot when we were growing up. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I am possible. And I took this to heart. And throughout my life and throughout my career since then, I've always had a belief in continuous improvement. I believe that there's always a faster, better, easier way to do absolutely anything and everything. Not only in our businesses and in my career as in corporate America, but also in my life. There's always a way to be a better parent. There's always a way to be a better significant other. There's always a way to be a better person, a better human being. We just have to be open to and willing to look for it. So now what's possible for me? You're like, okay, well, we heard your sad sob story, but what happened, Sharon? Where are you now? Well, these are just some quick shots of where I am now. I have two amazing children, a son, that's him on Mount Everest. My daughter's a photographer. They love to travel, both of them. I love to go for walks in the state park, and these are a couple of shots of a state park that's right next to my house. And until I had the sudden cardiac arrest, I actually never went there. But since then, I've been there hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of times now, walking, and I love that place. They have a beautiful waterfall, etc., etc. It's just my car, my house, cabin, and some of my business successes. But the best part of all of it was, the best part of me making and taking this journey is that I was able to spend the first year of my granddaughter's life being her primary caregiver while running an Italian food business, a food manufacturing business. And had I not decided that I was going to change my life and take back my life, I wouldn't have been able to experience any of that. That little girl probably wouldn't even exist, because my kids wouldn't exist, because the rate I was going, I would totally be dead by now. I would not have lived probably past my 20s, much less to 58, which I am turning tomorrow. So after 35 years, I discovered the hard way of dealing with chronic pain. And if you've been struggling with chronic pain in any area of your life, this is probably why. For 35 years, and actually since I discovered the internet, it hasn't been as bad, but for the most part, this is what I had to do, and this is what I had to deal with and try to untangle. And I had to figure out all of it on my own, because there was there's nobody out there that did this for me. There's nobody out there that could do this for me. There's nobody out there that has a system that could do all of this for me. So back when I first decided I needed to make changes, I would have my mom take me to what's called the Hill Reference Library, because that's this amazing library in St. Paul, Minnesota that I discovered in high school, and I still went to in college when I came home. And then when I started my I got to figure this out journey, I would have my mom take me to the Hill Reference Library for a while, and I would research the medical journals and the health publications, because that's the only place I knew of that a kid like me could get access to that information. It was strictly for medical professionals. But I would go there. I interviewed doctors and experts and people in different naturopathic medicines and modalities. I would call them and talk to them, or I would send them messages and letters asking for help, advice, and insight. I read every health publication I could get my hands on. And remember, it was difficult because a lot of it was strictly within the medical industry. There's no protocol for chronic pain, and this is and there still isn't. And this is one of my most horrifying realizations. Every other medical specialty has a protocol. And by protocol, I mean processes and procedures that they put you through. When I had my sudden cardiac arrest, everybody who has a sudden cardiac arrest goes through the same processes and procedures and tests and medications, the same the same way depending on their heart's issue. Mine was sudden cardiac arrest. Well, sudden cardiac arrest patients have a different protocol than heart attack patients, than people with clogged arteries, than people with irregular heartbeats. But there is a special protocol for each different type of cardio or heart problem. The same is true of cancers. My sister had a really rare form of leukemia, and that cancer is one of the very few that can be cured. But they had a very, very strict protocol and process that she went through for 3 full years to cure that cancer. And each type of cancer also has a, depending on the stage of your cancer, a particular protocol that they take each patient through. Well, there's no such thing for people with chronic pain, as I'm sure you're well aware at this point if you've had chronic pain for any amount of time. It doesn't have to be 37 years like me to have had that light bulb go off. And it's really, really scary. And we're seeing how scary it is with some of the things that are going on with pain patients' medications and things, and the DEA and the government, because the government has their own agenda and politics, which should never be involved in anything healthcare, if you ask me. But they certainly shouldn't be involved in doctors treating patients that have chronic pain. But the government has its own agenda. Big Pharma has its own agenda. Insurance companies and pharmacists and pharmaceutical companies, they all have their own agenda. And it's not for us to get our needs met and for us to be 100% healthy, living the lives that we dream of and desire and deserve to be living. But the big problem is there's no one section of medicine or segment of the population that is devoted entirely to helping people with chronic pain. Yeah, if I've got fibromyalgia or, like me, rheumatoid arthritis, which apparently last year I don't have rheumatoid arthritis anymore. If there's no, I mean, if you've got a chronic illness like that, there's a protocol for handling the chronic illness, and chronic pain's a little piece of that. But chronic pain needs its own protocol for all of us because it's so different. We come at chronic pain, and we have chronic pain and chronic illnesses for so many different reasons that cannot be addressed by a one-size-fits-all strategy. And it needs to be studied. It needs to be studied like every other area of medicine so that we can come up with a strategy or protocol that makes sense for people, not just a hodgepodge of, well, we'll try all these things, and if they don't work, well, then you're kind of screwed and you're just going to have to live with it for the rest of your life. Because, you guys, I'm in the forums every day. I actually limit myself to the amount of time I spend in other chronic pain groups and forums because I find them really, really sad and depressing. And I hear and see everybody's issues and challenges and problems, and it breaks my heart to see what everybody is still going through and struggling with. But the impact that the government and pharmaceutical companies, pharmacists in particular, and insurance companies are having on us as pain patients is, I think, inhumane at least, and criminal. It's really criminal what they're doing to us. But all of the hard way led to me knowing with 100% certainty that I had to figure this all out on my own. I had to figure it out, and I had to figure out a way so that I could do these things on an ongoing basis, so that when I had a flare or a little bump in my road, I knew what to do for me to handle it. Up front already, I did the math on this, again, my math nerdiness, and figured that I've spent almost $1 million. And I probably have invested $1 million so far because I'm not that good at adding up everything. It's not like I saved receipts or took my time into account. But over the last 37 years, I calculated that I spent at least 19,347 hours. And I'm always counting, and I'm always improving, and I'm always doing things to hone my ability to figure out what works best for me with respect to chronic pain. So I'm also, just to let you know and give you a heads up, I'm going to build a personal painkillers protocol. And I call it I actually call mine a perfect health protocol, a personal perfect health protocol. But for the purposes of this, I want to get your attention, and I want you to know that you can kill your chronic pain. You can have a personal protocol for you that kills your chronic pain or gives you your perfect health protocol. And for one lucky chronic pain sufferer, I'm going to create this in about 15 minutes online with her so that you can see how easy it is to create it for you too. But before I get to that, I want to share 3 secrets of painkillers. Secret number 1, painkillers protocol. How to sever chronic pain's death grip on your life in as little as 7 minutes a day without breaking a sweat. Secret number 2, painkillers emergency prescription, or RX. How to use painkillers to kick your chronic pain to the curb in 30 days or less, even if the experts said it can't be done, like they've told me so many times. And secret number 3, painkillers assassinations. How to get the exact same doctors, insurance and pharmaceutical companies, including pharmacists, who are currently only out for themselves to give you what you need to kill your chronic pain. Is that something you think would help you? Is that something that you want to know a little more about? Comment in the comments box, because if any of these secrets would help you, I want to know that you want to know them. All right. Tama says yes. Hello. All right, I'm not going to read these. I'm going to go ahead and get on with it. Let's jump right into secret number 1, painkillers protocol. How to sever chronic pain's death grip on your life in as little as 7 minutes a day without breaking a sweat. I learned early on in my journey by following people like Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, I've followed and been to lots of his events, and I'm going to actually go see him in about a week again at an event that I'm attending. But he's always showed and taught me that if you want to achieve something or have success in any area of your life, all you need to do is find somebody who's doing what you want, is already getting the results you want and the success you want, and model their behavior. Find out what they think, what they do, how they do it, and that will help you know how they're getting the results they're getting. And if you want those results, similar results, model people that are already getting the results you want. So I started modeling people that had perfect health, modeling people that I knew had illnesses, but also were living the life that they loved and dreamt of. Now, a couple of modern day examples of that would be Lady Gaga, the lady from Dancing with the Stars, and for some reason I can't remember her name right now, but she actually had a bunch of her vertebrae collapse when she was in the middle of Dancing with the Stars. Right after she had done a move dancing that night, a bunch of, I think 4 of her vertebrae collapsed, and she was in excruciating pain. Now she's since had surgery and is good again, but that's somebody who had to overcome excruciating chronic pain and just continue to move forward in her life. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's, and we've all seen his journey with Parkinson's and how he's continued to live and thrive in spite of what most people would think of as a debilitating death sentence illness. Now, my ex-father-in-law is in a nursing home with late-stage Parkinson's and Lewy body dementia, it's called. And that's his journey. But my journey is, okay, I have chronic pain, but it ain't going to stop me, because I know other people have been able to successfully live the life of their dreams. And whether you like Lady Gaga or not, I got to tell you, she's successful in living the life of her dreams. How about Oprah Winfrey? Oprah Winfrey's had chronic pain and had quite the life to overcome it. And she's definitely living her life of the life of her dreams. She's a role model for millions and millions of people, me included. And you don't have to agree with her politics or everything she says to see what an incredible impact she's made on this world. So I was, and over the years, over 37 years, I've tried like thousands of different things, right? And I learned early on that I needed to create habits and rituals and practices that worked for me to help me to create the life that I wanted. And this, what I call the Painkillers Booster, it has changed dramatically over the years as I've learned new things, I've added things, I've taken them away. But this is now a 7-step process that I go through every morning for sure, and usually, not usually, but often several times a day. If I'm having a really tough pain day, I will use this booster process to just, in, under 10 minutes, 7 minutes, I usually spend about 7 minutes doing this. I will use this process throughout my day to keep me focused on what it is that I want and not letting the chronic pain, infiltrate my life. I came up with this. I've learned about it from several other people, and I would love to give them all credit, but there's been so many people that have influenced me over these years. I can't even remember anymore, and I've done and changed these things so many times. I don't even remember where all the pieces have come from, but I know I got some from Tony Robbins, some from Vision Lanikai, from Mind. I can't remember the name of his organization. Brendan Burchard. And I'll give credit to a few other people as I go through it, but I've had so many teachers and so many experts along this journey. I mean, literally thousands of people have influenced and impacted me in my life and in my journey with chronic pain and chronic illness. But I want to share this process with you because it is so quick, so easy, so powerful, and you don't have to break a sweat. There's no sweating involved in this process. Step 1, breathe. Now, we all know that breathing is the beginning of our life force, right? And Tony Robbins taught me a way to breathe, counting a 7 count. Several other people have had 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold a deep breath and count to 10 or whatever. But there's lots of different ways to manage your breath and focus on your breath. But I recently came across one from Dean Graziosi. In his book, he shared a 30-day challenge. And I love these challenges. I've been doing them for years on myself. And I started a couple years ago sharing them with other people. But I also like to see other people's and do them. It's what got me out of my scaredy cat comfort zone to do Facebook Lives. Was a 5-day challenge by a gentleman named Mark Nelson. And I saw his challenge and I thought, well, I need to do Facebook Lives. I'm going to try this. I'm scared, but I'll do it. So I did it the first day. Well, it turns out I was the only person in his whole group of people that did it. And he called me out on it and said, oh, Sharon did it, da 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 da. And so then, of course, I was stuck. I had to do the whole 5-day challenge because I would be letting myself down. Number 1, I would have broken my commitment to myself. But number 2, all the other people that were watching and listening, because I was the only one that actually did it. And throughout the 5-day challenge, and a few other people jumped on, but for the most part, once that happened, I had publicly been called out, and then I had to do it. Well, since then, I've actually done hundreds and hundreds of Facebook Lives because I'm doing them for a painkillers challenge. I'm doing them for a stress challenge. I've done them for, I share my journey. I'm going from the offline business world to the online business world. But had I not had that challenge, I would not have, I probably wouldn't be doing this today. So breathing, back to breathing. I'm off topic as usual. I tend to talk a lot, my kids say. Breathing. Dean Graziosi's challenge taught me another breathing technique, and I tried it the first day, and it had a profound positive impact on me. So now I've been doing it ever since I discovered it every morning as part of my 7-step process. Now, that's an example of how I'm continually improving and always changing my process and what works for me. I'm totally willing to flip in, and when I find something that works better, I just change it out, and I keep making my process and my system better and better and better for me. And I encourage you to do the same thing. I'm going to share these in the order I'm currently doing them. It doesn't mean on some days I don't do them in a different order. It doesn't mean 3 months from now I might be totally doing a different 7 things, or I might only be doing 4 things. It just depends what's going on in my life, what I need to do. But right now, today, this is my 7-step process. So the first one is to breathe. And Dean teaches us a 4-count, I call it a 4x4 breathing strategy. So you inhale for 4, hold it for 4, a count of 4, exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 4, and then hold it for another count of 4. And then you repeat this. So it's 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold, repeat. So I'll do this, and I'll be honest, I'll do this about 3 times only, not for a full minute, if I'm laying in bed. If I've gotten out of bed and I'm sitting up in a chair, I can do it for the full minute, or like 7 or 8 repeats. But if I'm laying in bed and I do it more than like 3 or 4 times, I fall back asleep. That's how effective it is on me. It just relaxes everything by focusing on the counts of my breath and puts me right out. So if I have commitments that day or first thing in the morning, other than my normal routine, I have to get out of bed to actually do the first step of this process. So I'll be sitting in a comfortable chair, sipping coffee usually, and I do this process. First step, breathe, 4x4. Step 2, I think for a minute about what I want and why I want it. And the reason this is so important is I, like almost everyone else on this planet, has a tendency to focus on and think about what I don't want. And when we have chronic pain, guess what is screaming the loudest for our attention? It's that pain. That pain is screaming all the time. Unfortunately, if we listen to the screaming pain all the time, what are we going to get? More screaming pain. It's going to get worse and worse, more intense, to the point where, we can't stand it. We don't know how we're going to get through another minute, much less another day. So my second minute, first thing in the morning, is I focus on what I want. And what I want, more times than not, is living the life I love, experiencing perfect health in all areas and aspects of my life. And then I back that up with the power of why, to really give myself some charge and emotions and juice and reasons why I want to have perfect health in all areas of my life, why I want to be living the life of my dreams. And I for a minute, I say that statement, and then I think of all the reasons why I want that. Well, because I want the freedom to do what I want, when I want, with whomever I want. I want to be able to be active enough and mobile enough to spend time and energy and love and experience it with my kids. And I'll zip through that entire list. I want to be able to clean the kitchen. I want to be able to do my laundry. I want to be able to make it to the bathroom. Why do I want to make it to the bathroom? Because I don't want to be wearing Depends from now on. I want to be able to take care of myself. Why do I want to be able to take care of myself? Because I am sick and tired of counting on other people and having to depend on them and inconvenience them. Whatever it is for you, what do you want? Not what do you not want? And if you catch yourself saying, I don't want to hurt anymore, how are you going to turn that around? I want perfect health in all areas and aspects of my life. Because when I say I want perfect health, that means I ain't got any pain anymore. I said ain't again twice in one presentation. Crazy. I don't want to hurt anymore. I have perfect health. I know I don't hurt anymore, because perfect health in all areas of my life does not include any pain. So what do you want? I actually got this and really learned a lot about it from Lynn Grabhorn, which is why I put a picture of her book here. I love this playbook. It actually took me almost an entire year to go through this workbook. And I used to think it was my idea, but she recommended that you go through it and you do the exercises and you don't move on to the next exercise until you finish the one you're on. Well, I got stuck on one of the exercises. I don't remember even which one it was now, but I do remember getting stuck on one of the exercises, and I looked at that page every day for 2 months, and I could not make myself do it. I wasn't ready. My emotions and my forgiveness factor and my soul and my being wasn't ready to let go of that and move on yet. 2 months I dragged on that activity. But then one day I looked at it and I'm like, yep, today's the day. And I just did it and I shot through it. And then the whole rest of the book I was done in like less than a month. But it took me 2 months to get by that one exercise. And that's true for all of us. And that's why it's so critical to focus on what we want and why we want it. Step 2. Step 3, gratitude. I call this my rampage of gratitude. And for a minute, I think of absolutely everything I am grateful for, from the smallest of things to the biggest of things, from my comfy, cozy bed, and I really feel the feelings of being grateful for it, to my beautiful children, my beautiful granddaughter. I even give gratitude for my ex-husband, because he still helps me out in a lot of ways. I am grateful for my family, my friends, my relationships, my businesses, my magnifying glass, my cozy socks, my soft pajamas, my cute robes, whatever it is. I just go on a rampage of thinking of all the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful that I can get out of bed. I'm grateful that I can go for walks. I'm grateful for whatever it is you're grateful for. And I don't care how bad you're feeling right now. You need to only focus on what you're grateful for. I will admit, there were some days I would lay in bed when I first started doing this, and I would be like, I am not grateful for an effing thing. Every single cell of my body hurts. Now, I know that was a lie. Every single cell of my body did not hurt simultaneously when I said that. But by saying that, my mind started to believe it, and then I would feel worse and worse and worse. But sometimes I would have to lay in bed and just think, I'd open my eyes and I'd be like, okay, I'm grateful I can open my eyes. then I would like to try to move different parts of my body. And so I'd be like, okay, I'm grateful I can move my right toe. The left toe would be a little frozen up, but I could move my right toe. So I would be grateful for the right toe. I wouldn't think about the left toe. I'd only think about the right toe. And that got me moving. And, you know, fortunately, there were certain things in certain parts of my body that pretty much never hurt. I mean, even with a migraine, my ears pretty much never hurt. They were usually okay. So wherever you are, whatever's going on with you, look for what you can focus on and be grateful for. And forget about the rest. Just forget about the rest for this 1 minute and focus on what you can be grateful for. Maybe you're grateful because you have people that are helping you and are loving you and taking care of you. Maybe you have an awesome doctor who's giving you hope. Whatever it is, be grateful for it. Step 4 is all about focusing on the present moment and the now. And I don't know why I put these here. They should probably be on the want slide, because the 5 major motivators that cause us to do anything, and I'm sure you can all relate to number 4, are make money, save time, avoid pain, and gain pleasure. And we will do way more to avoid pain than we will to gain pleasure. There's been tons of scientific tests and studies done on this, but that's an aside. The point is, we want to be in the present moment and focus on the now. And why this is so powerful is because pain and chronic pain is so insidious. It sneaks into and spreads out into every part of our being, not just our body, but our mind and our soul. And it just kind of permeates everything. You know, think of a black smoke or a smoke ball. It starts out in a little area as you light the match on that smoke bomb, and then pretty soon it spreads out, and it's just this thick clogging smoke everywhere that you're trying to walk through and breathe through. And that's how pain feels, at least in my body. My pain didn't start out all over my body, but now when I'm having a bad day, I swear to God, every cell of my body is in aching, agonizing pain. Just like that smoke. Pain, chronic pain especially, permeates every part of us. And by focusing on this instant in time right now, I'm able to separate immediately and put that back into where it belongs, to the compartments that my chronic pain belongs in. Because as I'm focusing on the now, I realize, okay, everything in my body doesn't hurt. Maybe my hips are giving me like super excruciating pain messages, and my back or my neck or my head because I have a migraine. But again, my right toe doesn't hurt. My ears don't hurt. And by focusing on the now, I'm paying attention to what's working, not what isn't working. I'm paying attention to what's right, not what's wrong. And that makes all the difference, because it gives me the ability to expand that feeling of everything isn't effed up, everything isn't wrong, there's plenty right. And to be honest, no matter how much pain we're in, there's actually a whole lot more in our bodies functioning properly than not. Because if it were more things functioning improperly, we would be dead. And been there, done that. That's what happens. And so, you know, if you're listening to me, that even though it feels like everything's wrong, there's a lot more things working right. Your subconscious mind is running your body a lot better and a lot more things right than it is ever running things wrong. And the pain signal is telling you, this is wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong. We need to figure it out. We need to figure it out. We need to figure it out. We need to fix it. We need to fix it. And actually it's telling us, you need to fix it. You need to fix it. Sharon, you need to fix it. Nobody else can fix it for you. So concentrating on the present moment and the now gives me the ability to expand those moments where I can actually see what's right and what's working. And that is so powerful in helping me to do what I need to do to live the life that I want to live, to get me more toward pleasure and less toward focusing on the pain that just happens to be a part of my life. Step 5 is visualization. And everybody who wants to achieve anything visualizes. We don't create anything in our lives without first creating it in our minds. And if you don't believe me, you can go do some research and find out. I didn't make this stuff up. It's all absolutely positively scientifically proven. And there's billions of examples of this in everybody else's lives. But the most powerful way to test this out and prove it is to do it on yourself. Visualize something that you want and watch it appear in your life. And it can work for the smallest things and it can work for the biggest things. And if you've never experienced this before, you need to test it out. Every athlete, everyone who's ever achieved any greatness has first seen it in their mind and probably played that scenario of achievement in their mind hundreds of thousands of times before they're actually standing on that Olympic podium, before they've got several billion followers on Facebook, before they've married the person of their dreams, before they've created the life of their dreams. And so what I do for visualization as part of my daily morning process is I see my day going perfectly and I imagine it with all of my senses, as many as I can. My friend Jim Edwards taught me to put it in a movie, put it into an action-packed movie. So I create a different scene. Sometimes I'll play the same scene over and over again if I'm in a hurry, but a lot of times I'll create a different fun scene every day for myself, and I create a really quick movie of my day going exactly as I want it to. If I've got a doctor appointment, I visualize that doctor appointment and that visit going absolutely amazingly, and me finding out and hearing exactly what I need to hear on that day from that appointment to move me toward and forward in my life and in my journey. If I have a coaching session with somebody, either I'm the client or they're my client, I see that coaching session going perfectly. I know exactly what to say, when to say it. They know exactly what to say to me because I need to hear it, whatever. And I throw in the sights, the sounds, you know, the environment. Is it cold? Is it warm? I throw in what I'm wearing. I add as much color and as much sound and sight and taste and smell. I often add the eating of caramels to my visualizations because that's one that is so powerful and positively connected for me. But whatever works for you, I see myself having a perfect day. And that, of course, is a perfect health in all areas of my life day. Step 6 is action. I have to decide what I'm going to do for the day, and I pick one thing. Now, do I only do one thing all day? Of course not. I mean, I do a lot of things during the day, but I pick one main thing that I'm going to focus on. And I learned this from several coaches because I was that woman prior to my sudden cardiac arrest that always had a 400 item to-do list for the day. Now, I don't know about you. I don't even think Superman could get through a 400 item to-do list in any given day. So that created all kinds of stress and strain and pressure on me that was just totally unnecessary. So I was coached to pick one thing, the one main thing that is going to move me in the direction I want to go, that is my focus for the day. So using the example, if I have a doctor appointment today, my one main thing is that doctor appointment and making sure that that works out perfectly for me. If my one main thing is that I'm going to create a PowerPoint presentation like you're listening to now, then that's the one thing I'm going to create. So today, my one main thing is this PowerPoint presentation, and I'm talking and sharing with you. But I act by setting my number one priority for the day, just one. And maybe it's just, I'm going to eat right today. I'm going to eat and figure out what makes me feel better today, because the last week or so I've been eating crappy and I'm noticing it in the way I feel. So today, my one thing is I'm going to pay attention to and eat what's best for me today. So then maybe I don't get caramels that day. But whatever it is, step 6 is to act. Now, by acting, I'm making a commitment to myself that I'm going to do that one thing, or I'm going to follow through on that one thing. And at the end of the day, before I go to bed, I actually also have a protocol or a procedure or a kind of going to sleep thing that I do, which isn't part of this, but part of that is reviewing my day. Did I do my one thing? What am I grateful for? How closely did my perfect day visualization match what actually happened today? And it's amazing. It's almost uncanny how close my actual day is to the perfect day I visualized. I don't think that's a coincidence. Do you? Step 7, I get a lot of grief when I share this one because some people say, you know what? Everybody around me sucks. Nobody understands what I'm going through. Screw them. I don't have to forgive anybody. And I certainly don't want to bless anybody. Well, you can either, like I said, these steps are for you to choose whether you want to do them or not. But I have found that adding forgiveness and blessing other people has made a huge difference in my life and how I'm experiencing chronic pain, chronic illness, and just all of my life experiences. You know, and my greatest test has been, just like all of ours, is to bless people when you're struggling, when you're in chronic pain, when you are having your own battles to fight, and also when there's people that have hurt us that might not even have a clue that they've hurt us. Some of the biggest work I personally had to do is forgiving my ex-husband for some of the crap he did to me and some of the stuff that he pulled. Now, he's an awesome person, don't get me wrong. He's just not an awesome person for me. And as such, that mismatch in us caused a lot of strife and a lot of strain, and I was responsible for part of that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not off scot-free because I co-created that situation with him. But I had to do a lot of forgiveness work, and I don't know that he would care that I forgive him for any of the stuff he did or not, because I'm sure he doesn't even think anything he ever did was wrong. But forgiveness is always for me. Forgiveness is about me, more often than not, forgiving myself for making the decision at the time and doing the thing I had done at the time, and not realizing that I always have done the best I can given the information that I had at that time, and beating myself up in the future now for something that I did or said or happened in the past is ridiculous and worthless. And so a lot of times I'm just spending time forgiving myself for something I said or something I did that just comes up, and so I need to let it go and get it out of my body and out of my being. And then blessing everybody. I believe in karma, people. I believe that you get back in life exactly what you give out in life. So I just automatically always want to bless all life forms on the planet, everybody I know and love and care about, a lot of times during the day, but at least for sure when I first wake up. I just want to send those good vibes out to everybody on the planet, and especially to people that are hurting and struggling. I want to give them some love and light and hope and encouragement for the future. And even if they don't know I'm sending it, I feel like energetically, if people are open to it, they can receive it. So that is my 7-step process. Virginia's experience with this painkillers booster was, I spent years thinking that there was nothing I could do about my chronic back pain. I felt like I had tried everything. But then Sharon shared her painkillers booster with me. In just a few minutes a day, I began noticing changes. I didn't want to scream all the time. Ginny Johnson. And Ginny, again, is one of the first people I shared this protocol with, because we were chatting and she had tried a lot of stuff. Like me, she had tried and done a lot of stuff. But remember, I've tried thousands of things that didn't work. And so she was in the midst of her own personal journey with hundreds of things that haven't worked for her. And she was getting really frustrated and really upset because they hadn't worked for her. And she needed a quick thing that could make a positive impact in her life right away. So I shared my painkillers booster with her, and it made a huge difference. So who does this work for? Chronic pain sufferers. Anybody here can relate? This will work for you if you do it and give it a chance. Chronic illness patients. I'm both a chronic illness patient and a chronic pain sufferer, and this has made a huge difference in my life. Anybody that's involved in an accident, say an auto accident, a fall, a biking accident, any kind of an accident, anybody that's injured on the job, anybody, anyone in chronic pain. And chronic pain is defined by the medical industry as if you've had pain for 3 months or more, then it's considered chronic. Now, I don't know, most of us have had pain for a lot more than 3 months, but that's the cutoff in the medical industry. So who wants to know my favorite place to find the best chronic pain killing strategies? You know, I've obviously shared 7 little ones with you. Who wants to know now where I get these? Because it's very different than where I used to get them 35 years ago. The internet and social media has changed everything, and I accidentally snuck by that slide really, really fast. Sorry. Remember how hard it was to find information before? Well, now the internet makes it so easy. I mean, it is crazy simple to get help if you want help. The biggest, hardest thing you're going to have to do is decide that you're going to figure this out. So where do you look for awesome advice? Google or any one of the other search engines. Google chronic pain and you will get millions of results. Google chronic pain relief. Google your specific illness or diagnosis if you're lucky enough to have gotten one. Google that and then add the words relief, pain relief, cure, treatment, whatever, to find out information of some of the strategies and things that can help you. YouTube and the other, again, YouTube isn't the only video sharing spot on the internet. YouTube has got, again, millions and millions of videos that walk you through all kinds of things that can help you with your chronic pain and with your chronic illness. All you have to do is Google your specific illness or Google chronic pain. And there's literally millions of results of things that can help you. I have watched tens of thousands of hours worth of YouTube videos and meditations and TED Talks, you name it, I've watched it. But bar none, the best place and my favorite spyglass to look at and find out about chronic pain is within me. It's within you. It's within each of us is where the answers to our chronic pain really lie. So your painkillers booster, just do it. All I can say is just do this. Try this for 3 days. I'm begging you to try this for 3 days. And if it does not make any impact on your chronic pain in 3 days, I want you to message me directly and I will do something for you specifically because I know how powerful this is and I have a way to supercharge this for you. If this does not work for you, let me know because I don't want anybody to continue to suffer unnecessarily. So secret number 1, how to sever chronic pain's death grip on your life in as little as 7 minutes a day without breaking a sweat. Now you know how, right? You just do this simple 7-step protocol. And guess what? It doesn't have to take you 7 minutes. It doesn't have to take you more than 7 minutes. The more you practice it, the faster you'll get. I can actually knock that whole thing off in 30 seconds or less now because I have key trigger points in my brain that if I'm heading into something that's stressing me out or I'm a little nervous about something, I can actually pull up that full booster process, go through the entire thing in 7 minutes, in under 30 seconds, and actually change my state and get me psyched up and ready to do whatever it is that I have to do. It just gives me a little supercharge of booster power. And that's why I call it a booster, because I can use it anytime, not just in the morning. But for me, one of my biggest challenges is actually getting out of bed in the morning. That is part of why I developed the boosters, because I needed to address my personal biggest challenge. And a lot of people, their biggest challenge isn't getting out of bed, but mine is. So that's why I created that. And I don't sweat at all doing it, just so you know. So should we dive into secret number 2, the painkillers prescription? How to use painkillers to kick your chronic pain to the curb in 30 days or less, even if the experts said it can't be done. Well, I have a really quick story I want to share here, and it happened actually just last year. As I said, my journey with chronic pain wasn't over the day I decided that I was going to figure out what was going on with me and use myself as a science experiment. It was really just the beginning. It was the end of me being disabled 100% by chronic pain, though. So there was that big transition, because I went from, handicapped sticker, disabled, stuck in bed, to actually beginning to recover my mobility. And that first stretch took me, it took me about 8 months to really get to the point where I was mobile enough to function on my own, so that I could actually drive myself to doctor appointments. I had been out of school, but I could actually start going back to school again and just take a couple of classes. Of course, I still had a handicap sticker, and I still had to have walking aids, and I still had to do a lot of things, but I wasn't 100% disabled anymore. And I continue to hit bumps in the road. I mean, I have had eye surgeries, I've had kidney surgeries, I've had up to including death. I had a sudden cardiac arrest and died, and had to be revived. And I have a pacemaker, or an internal cardiac device, or an ICD it's called now. My daughter calls it my Iron Man, and we kind of joke about it, but that helps me live with it. But I've had bumps in the road. And last year, and actually following my sudden cardiac arrest, let's start there. I didn't know what had happened when I woke up from the hospital. And I woke up and my first words were WTF. And I'm sure you know what that means, but it wasn't a very empowering question. But that led me on a journey as soon as that event had happened to get back into really studying what was going on with me and what was working in my life and what wasn't. And Tony Robinson taught me about my primary question. And I actually realized that my primary question for that period of my life was WTF. Now, That is not a very empowering primary question. And so I since changed that, but it led me to research and study more in depth what happened to me, why it happened, because frankly, I had never really even heard of a sudden cardiac arrest when it happened. And when I woke up, everybody was like, there were like 25 doctors that came into my room, and there were all these specialists and all these nurses and my family, and everybody was like amazed that I was awake and talking. And so when I got out of the hospital a few days later, I did some bunch of research, and I was like, oh my God, I see why they were all there, because, you know, there's only, when someone has a sudden cardiac arrest, only 6% of the people that have a sudden cardiac arrest ever wake up from that. And of those 6%, only 7% of the people are without brain damage and have pretty, you know, a lot of their memories and are pretty cognizant still. And I was pretty much both. And to, you know, by anybody's stretch of the imagination, it was a miracle that I was sitting there and that I'd woken up. And I later found out that I was the first person that the Hudson Police Department has ever saved with a defibrillator in one of their police cars. And I'm very honored to have that I was the first. I hope I'm not the last, but I was very honored to be the first person that they saved. But I knew that part of the statistics I found was that almost everybody who has an event like that dies within 3 to 6 years of that event if they don't make massive lifestyle changes. So I knew that I was going to have to make massive lifestyle changes. So I decided, I went and I modeled and I studied and I looked into, and I found out that some of the healthiest people on the planet exercise a lot. And so I thought, well, if they exercise at least 5 days a week, I'm going to exercise every day for a year. Now, you got to keep in mind, I was a workaholic, non-exercising fool. I didn't exercise. I didn't do anything besides work that involved physical activity at this time, at the time of my cardiac arrest. So for me to tell people that I was going to exercise every day for a year, my family went ballistic and laughed me out of the room. All except my dad, because he's always the no such thing as can't guy. But everybody else pretty much said, hey, it's impossible. You're not going to be able to do it. You know, it's like when you tell people you're going on a diet and then you start to lose weight and they start to kind of sabotage it and undermine you because, I don't know why, because then maybe they think that it would be possible for them too. So everybody's telling me, no, that's not possible. You can't possibly do it. And one thing about me is if you tell me I can't do something, you might as well just know that it's already done. I'm always well, watch me do it because it's happening now. It would have only taken one person to tell me you can't do that to do it. But I got like a lot of people telling me I couldn't do it. And that just made me more and more motivated to say, yes, I can, watch me. So every day from that point on, after I got out of the hospital, I exercised every day for a year. Now, I'm not out running marathons. I'm walking every day. I'm riding my exercise bike every day if it's a winter. But I am doing something every day. Up until end of last April, I actually was walking at the state park. We had one of those spring days, so I was out at the state park early, and I was walking, and somehow I tweaked and twisted my right ankle. So I fell on the path. I remember now, I fell on the path because I had to throw away those yoga pants. I actually skinned both my knees and my hand, but what was really bad was my right ankle. I mean, by the time I got up on the path, because I didn't want to have anybody find me laying on the path, and stood there for a few minutes to get up the gumption to walk back to my car, or hobble back to my car. Let's be honest, I wasn't walking, I was hobbling and holding my hand because it was bleeding. My ankle was like 3 times the size it had been. I mean, my shoe, it was swollen around my shoe. It was so bad. So I got back to the car, drove home. I don't know how, but I drove home. And then over the next week, it kind of started to get better, but it wasn't great. I did exercise about 5 of the 7 days, but I actually missed a couple days of exercise. And then right after that, I had to go on a trip. I was going to get certified for a program that I'd been studying that I was really excited about, an online program. And I had to go to that. So I flew to that, and I was feeling better. I exercised when I was out there. I just rode the exercise bike and walked on the treadmill a little bit. And my ankle was a little iffy, but not horrible. But then I flew to Colorado for a couple of days for the weekend to visit my daughter and my son-in-law. And somehow that second flight, my hips hurt really bad when I got off the plane. And while I was there for the weekend, it got progressively bad. I mean, I was laying in bed at their house and there was tears running down my cheeks because, I mean, it hurt so bad I couldn't get comfortable just to lay there from this excruciating pain in my hips and my legs. And I just didn't know where it was coming from. So I thought, okay, well, I'll be okay. It's just the altitude. I thought, oh, it must just be the altitude. No big deal. I'll be fine when I fly home. But I remember sitting at the airport, you know, wiping tears off my cheeks, trying to like not let anybody see me, but just sitting at the airport waiting for the plane to come. I couldn't believe it. It was just so bad. I was like, where has this come from? I haven't felt pain like this in forever. I couldn't remember because I'd been so good about managing my pain and blocking it out that this new super severe pain it just felt like it was breaking through all of the things that I'd built up over the years, all of the modalities and things that had worked for me in the past. I was trying them all and nothing was working. It was just kept shooting through. So I flew home, and actually a little girl at the airport when we were waiting for our baggage actually asked if she could pray over me. That's how I guess I wasn't hiding it as well as I thought I was, but that's kind of the situation. So I got home and I thought, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. It was probably 9 o'clock at night. I thought, I'm just crawling in bed and I'll feel better tomorrow. I'll just be fine tomorrow. I know it. Well, woke up in the morning and I could not get out of bed. I couldn't stand up. I finally, after, I don't know, 20 minutes, because I had to go to the bathroom, I tried to get up and I got 2 steps and I actually wet my pants. And I was so glad that my son was downstairs still sleeping because I was so embarrassed. I just burst into tears. And I don't know if it was the pain and actually the fact that I wet my pants. But I was just devastated, and the question going through my head was WTF, WTF, WTF. And I quickly switched that up for you got this. I don't know why you got this popped in my head, but my saying since then has been you got this, because that's the only thing that got me to the bathroom most of the time for the next week, because I thought, oh, this is just going to get better. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to, just work by my bed because I can put my computer by my bed and it'll heal itself. I got this. I know how to handle this. And after about a week, I couldn't get down the stairs to do the cats. So my son was taking care of the kittens for me. And I was, the extent of my movement was bed to the bathroom, bed to the bathroom. That was it. That was all I could do. So finally the kids are like, yeah, no, you have got to go to the doctor. So my mother-in-law took me to the doctor and I got a bunch of tests, and they came back and my inflammation markers were like beyond off the charts. I had one marker that was 5 times above the normal, like not 5 above the normal, 5 times the normal range. I had another one that was 7 times the normal range. So these were bad indicators of something going on in my body. And then they did x-rays and things, and those also showed these terrible indicators. Well, unfortunately, the doctor called me with the results and she's like, there's bad stuff going on in you. She had given me a steroid prescription. I took it, and the first day it helped for like a couple hours, and then all of a sudden the pain came back like 5 times worse than it had been. I didn't think it could get worse, and all of a sudden it was like so much worse. I couldn't believe it. So I told her I just wasn't going to take the steroids anymore because they were actually making me feel worse, because in addition to them not helping the pain at all, they had, on top of that, I was starting to already experience the side effects. I had taken a lot of steroids when I was in my 20s and did not respond particularly well to them or the other anti-inflammatory drug type things that I was always prescribed. So I didn't want to go down that route. It wasn't working for me. So I knew I had to keep looking and figure something out. Well, she scheduled me with the rheumatologist, and the soonest they could get me in was like 97 days. Now, I live in Wisconsin, so 97 days from the beginning of May is like the entire summer. And I was like, no, this isn't happening. So I hopped on my Facebook Live and I made a Facebook Live about asking if any of my friends had any ideas of what I could try and what might help. And one of my good friends, who I'd known for about 10 years, but I didn't even realize what all she did, I guess, because she lives out in Washington State, is she's a naturopathic healer, and she knows all kinds of different modalities and nutrition, and she was a nurse by training originally, and then she got into all these other different modalities and ways of healing, and she's become a specialist in many of them. So she takes a really holistic approach to health and handling chronic pain or chronic illnesses. And she reached out and talked to me, and we've since spent, I bet, 30, 40 hours on the phone talking to one another. But she actually turned me on to something that I had not even realized was an option. Sorry, I wanted to sneak ahead because I think I might be talking about this too much. But she taught me about how to eat for your blood type. I had never heard about this before. Since my sudden cardiac arrest, I was eating everything that I read about and heard about and found that was supposed to be really, really good for my heart and for my heart health. Well, come to find out that when we looked into my blood type and eating for my blood type, about 80 to 85% of what I was consuming was bad for my particular blood type. So my blood was treating the things that I was consuming that I thought were good for my heart like poison. Because the blood type diet, the whole principle is that there's foods that are highly beneficial for your blood type. So your body and your blood treats those like medicine and very beneficial. There's neutral things that your body just treats like food and it doesn't have a positive or a negative impact on you and your health. And then there's other substances that when you consume them, your blood acts like they're poison. Well, I was literally poisoning my body with about 85% of what I was consuming. And I think between the sprained ankle and the stress of flying and all of the other things, it was just like this perfect storm that came together, and my body could not process that much stuff that wasn't good for my blood type at that time. Now, that's my theory. Might not be true for anybody else, but that is what worked for me. And when I actually got in to see the rheumatologist about 35 days later. And actually, it was just under 30 days from my first lab tests because I could not believe the difference. When I went to see him, I could walk. I could walk into his office and I could talk and I could function. And he's kind of like, well, what are you here for? You know, your doctor sent over these results. They're horrible. But looking at you right now, I'm not seeing this. So he did the exam and we talked and he ran the tests again that I had had. And when I got the results on my computer, because nowadays the cool thing about the internet is you can actually get your own medical lab results and look at them. I looked at them and I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe there was a mistake, except for how good I was feeling. I knew there wasn't a mistake. I knew that they were a real proof and indication of the massive change that my body had made in less than 30 days by me just changing what I ate. How powerful is that? I was flabbergasted because I never really realized the power of our body and my body to heal itself in such a short period of time. I thought it felt miraculous to me. And I was telling everybody about it and I sounded like an evangelist and I'm sure they thought I was crazy, but I have proof of the impact that this one thing had on me and my body. So it was just another indicator that my belief in continuous improvement and treating myself as a science experiment and always being open to the possibility of something working for me, how incredibly powerful that is. And that having my own personal plan and protocol is the answer to my life and leading the life that I love and deserve to live. So again, the hard way of doing all of this was, researching it out, talking to government agencies and pharmacies and whatever else. But now the new way, the new better way is what I call the Painkillers protocol. Painkillers perfect health plan. I call it the perfect health plan personally, but the Painkillers protocol, the Painkillers perfect health plan, whatever you want to call it. This is the way. This is the only way to ensure that you get to live the life that you deserve by having your own personalized protocol and plan for how you deal with and what you do about your chronic pain to minimize and kill that in your life and then create the life that you want. Create the perfect life experience that you want to have in this life. So for one lucky chronic pain sufferer, Sarah is going to get on the line with us and we are going to build her personalized Painkillers protocol. Oh, I can't get Sarah on the line, you guys. For some reason, it just keeps going to voicemail. Maybe she's had a quick issue or flare or had to go somewhere. But I'm not going to share what we've talked about unless I get her on the line. Each one of these plans are personal and specific to you. Just like mine is different than anybody else's, yours will be different than Sarah's or mine or anybody else's. It includes all aspects of you as a human being, your mind, your body, your spirit, or your soul. All of you. We are not just physical beings. Although our pain feels like it's just a physical thing, it's well beyond a physical thing. And if we don't address every aspect of pain and every aspect of you and your life as a human being, we cannot create a perfect, personalized painkillers protocol for you. My doctor of 8 years informed me that due to the opioid crisis, he would no longer be able to continue treating me. He took early retirement and wished me good luck getting into a new pain clinic. I started having panic attacks from the stress. Then my cousin told me about painkillers. She had gotten hurt at work and was referred to Sharon. So happy, back to myself again, Maureen Riley. And Maureen had to do a little bit of work, but she did find a pain clinic and got back on her same treatment and same protocol, and she's doing terrific today. So in case you're thinking, oh my God, I am in such bad shape, how on earth am I supposed to think about and create a painkillers protocol for myself? How am I going to do this? And I'm going to tell you, don't worry. You don't have to do this by yourself. It's not complicated. It's just a matter of asking yourself questions and listening to the answers, and then adding the things that are for you to your life and subtracting the things that aren't for you from your life. I wish I could have gone through Sarah's protocol so you could with her, because you could see how easy it is to set up and create for you and test yourself with it. We do muscle testing, and I do the easy loop muscle testing for me personally because that's the easiest one for me. And there's a ton others that I will teach you how to do and teach you how to get access to so that you can muscle test yourself to find out what is for you and what isn't for you. But you don't have to do this for yourself. Any other person can help you and go through this with you as long as you're comfortable having them know some of your secret private information and you don't have a problem with that. But they can actually help you create this for you. So secret number 2, how to use painkillers to kick your chronic pain to the curb in 30 days or less, even if experts said it can't be done. You now know how to do that. And I wanted to just share another little picture of my granddaughter because she is part of my reason for being. She's just such an incredible little human being, and I feel so blessed that I don't have to miss out on interacting and doing experiences with her and going on adventures because I let pain stop me. So now you know how to use your chronic painkillers protocol to kick your chronic pain to the curb in as little as 30 days. And it hopefully might be something as easy as it was for me. And people, you might be thinking, hey, I can't make food. I can't change my diet. I can't. And you know what? I could have said that too, but I was so desperate when I found out about this. I was willing to do whatever it takes to try it and to see if it would make a difference. And you know what? If it hadn't worked for me, we wouldn't even be talking about it today. But it did work for me. And was it a little difficult to massively change what I was eating, changing 80% of what my diet was? Yeah. But was it so worth it? Oh my God. I can't even tell you how worth it was. Do I sound like it wasn't worth it? So worth it. And you just have to be open to finding that 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 things that mesh together and have that miraculous effect on you and your life. Let's jump into secret number 3. I call it painkillers assassinations. How to get the exact same doctors, insurance, and pharmaceutical companies, which includes pharmacists, who are currently only out for themselves to give you what you need to kill your chronic pain. I want to share a couple of other people's stories with you that I've recently been introduced to that are just kind of mind-boggling, but they're so powerful. Bunny's son had and was born with a missing nerve in his face. And because of that nerve being missing, he couldn't smile. He didn't smile. He could smile kind of lopsided in one side of his smile. And I was in an accident when I was a child, so I can kind of relate to this. I fell on a tricycle, and so I've always had a crooked smile and have always been really, really conscientious, and I still am, about smiling and about the way my mouth looks, because when I talk, it's kind of crooked, and I'm going to be 58 tomorrow, so I'm kind of getting over it. But I could really relate to him because I've been through this my whole life, and it started to impact him and his relationships and his ability to have friendships, and you know how the other kids treated him because they always thought he looked grumpy because he wasn't smiling. Even the parents, she would overhear them commenting that He's such a sullen little boy. He never smiles. And so she went on a mission to find out what could help him. And the insurance companies and the doctors, they just kept saying, no, there's nothing that you can do. You're just going to have to live with it. But she wouldn't take no for an answer. She talked to her husband, who's an attorney, and he really encouraged her to keep digging and keep looking and keep studying to see what she could find out. And she did that. And she found one doctor in Canada that was the only doctor in the world that did this procedure that could replace and fix this nerve. And it's a 3-step surgery. So they had to make 3 trips to Canada as a family to get her only son this surgery. And the insurance companies kept saying no, kept saying no, kept saying no. And she pled her case, scoured through their rules and regulations, and found out how to get it approved. And at the very last minute, they approved these surgeries for her son, who now has a beautiful smile. He's now a senior in high school, and he's getting ready to go to college, and he's living a wonderful life without the devastation of having a facial kind of defect. Just like our chronic pain is a defect, and we need treatment for that from insurance companies, he had this same defect. And the insurance companies, like Bunny found out, their number one answer to everything is no. I'm sure almost everyone listening right now has had an experience with an insurance company telling them no for something that their doctor ordered or that they need to get better or to heal or to help them in some way. I mean, we've all heard horror stories of people that have died because their insurance company wouldn't pay for a cancer treatment or for any kind of treatment. And guess what? Since the political changes, it's just gotten worse. If you're over 78 years old, you need to be very afraid. I am really becoming an advocate for the elderly because the treatment of our elderly has become beyond abysmal. But that's another topic for another web class. Another example is how the government jacks us around and jacks people around. And this applies to Social Security, disability benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, the court system even. My friend Jackie spun out on black ice. We were just talking about this at a meeting the other day. And she was telling me she had to go to court. The policeman that aided her in getting her car back in the right direction on this black ice spin out, even though she wasn't in an accident or anything, wrote her a ticket. So she had to go to court, and the court system made her come back 5 times before they finally dismissed the case because the policeman didn't show up. But they made her jump through hoops and go back 5 times. The government, insurance companies, our doctors, the pharmacists that we go to pick up our prescriptions from make us jump through hoops. And it's ridiculous and unnecessary. Lisa lost her doctor after several years of being treated. Her pain doctor quit on her because he didn't want to do the paperwork and the necessary work that's now being required by the government for this quasi made up drug problem due to pain patients using opioids. Another topic. Don't get me started on this. I get so upset by it. And I don't even take any of those drugs. But I do have people I know and love and care about that do. And without them, they would be completely writhing in bed, non-functional human beings. And that's not right by any way, shape, means, or stretch of the imagination. So Lisa had to actually go to 5 different pain clinics before she could get back to getting the treatments that she was already getting and the insurance paid for. And this goes to show you that, everybody is not going to get their needs met, but you can get your needs met by knowing what you need to know, doing what you need to do to use these organizations, policies, procedures, and rules against them. And not really against them to harm them, but against them to get what you need to live the life that you deserve. Even though others aren't getting what they need, and the vast majority of people don't get what they need from these organizations. It's almost criminal that they don't, but they don't. But just because other people aren't getting what they need doesn't mean you can't get what you need from anybody, from your doctors, insurance companies, the government, associations even. Sometimes associations are only out for themselves. I mean, do we really believe, any of us, that reality TV is real? Do we really believe that the Heart Association, the Lung Association, the Cancer Society really want to find a cure for any of the diseases that they represent or the ailments that they represent? Newsflash, heck no, because if they have a cure, there is no reason for them to exist any longer. And Every organism strives to survive, including governments, associations, and businesses and companies. They're here to exist, just like we as human beings are. But I know things now. I know what the systems are. I know what their goals are. I know what their processes are, and I know how to get what I need. And assassinations is all about you getting what you need. So if I model what works, I know knowledge is power. I know how to get what I need, and I know how you can get what you need. If you use their procedures against them, you can watch your pain die, and you get to thrive like I have been for 37 years, with a few bumps in the road. When my doctor insisted I'd have to get insurance pre-approval for the radio frequency on my back, and you might not know what radio frequency is, but radio frequency is, my son and my sister have both had it a lot of times, and my son describes it as, and so does my sister, even with sedation, it feels like they've got a blowtorch and they're burning through your nerves. It's a laser, but it feels like a blowtorch for like between 2 and 4 minutes. They're burning through your nerves to sever your nerves to give you some kind of pain relief. Now, I don't know anybody, no matter how bad our pain is, that would go through that procedure if they didn't think and know that that was going to give them some relief. And it doesn't last forever. It only lasts 3 to 6 months, depending on your body and how fast your nerves grow back. But it gives you some relief from your chronic pain for a period of time. So anyway, I was having a discussion one day with an attorney, and he was saying that, oh, so-and-so is just faking it. And I'm like, nobody would ever fake getting radio frequency. Nobody would ever go through that if they didn't have such excruciating pain on an ongoing basis that they needed some relief from it. So anyway, that's my side gig on radio frequency. But she didn't think anything of it because she had 3 of them done in the past year or so. When I called the pain clinic to schedule, they told me insurance would not approve and they would need a $5,000 deposit in order to schedule it. What? Sharon's team showed me exactly what to do. Had the procedure last week and I'm feeling much better. But this is happening to more and more people. But just because it's happening to other people and you're reading about it on the forums and the groups online doesn't mean you have to be afraid of it happening to you. Not if you have your own painkillers protocol. Not if you have your own personalized pain management system. Not if you have your own perfect health life plan. And part of that is the painkillers assassination. So you're probably thinking, big companies used to be scary, but they're really not anymore. The only competition, if what you're saying is true, Sharon, is really me believing that I can get my needs met. Abundance versus scarcity mentality, me believing that if Joe gets his procedure, then I'm not going to get mine, is totally out the window. There's plenty to go around. There's plenty of procedures. There's plenty of pharmaceuticals. There's plenty of surgeries. There's plenty of whatever you need for you to have what you need to live the life that you deserve. If you believe you can get what you need, you will get what you need. So secret number 3, painkillers assassinations, how to get the exact same doctors, insurance, and pharmaceutical companies who are currently only out for themselves. Let's be honest, they're out for themselves. It's about the money. It's about the bottom line. It's about the profits. It's about the millions and millions of dollars that the CEOs get paid. It's about them. It's not about any individual person getting their needs met, unless you say, I'm getting my needs met, and this is how, and then you will. And you're going to get those same organizations to give you what you need to kill your chronic pain. Now you know exactly how to do it. You know how to get your needs met from these out for themselves groups. Again, let's recap the 3 secrets of painkillers. How to sever chronic pain's death grip on your life in as little as 7 minutes a day without breaking a sweat, the Painkillers Booster. Secret number 2, painkillers emergency prescription, how to use painkillers to kick your chronic pain to the curb in 30 days or less, even if experts said it can't be done. And secret number 3, painkillers assassinations, how to get the exact same doctors, insurance, and pharmaceutical companies who are currently only out for themselves to give you what you need to kill your chronic pain. So if I've modeled what works, if I do what works best for me, what anyone else says and does becomes irrelevant. Do you see that? Can you see how that would work in your life and in your situation now? Can you see that if you take matters into your own hands, take your own health, your own well-being, your own life into your own hands, now you can make the changes that have to be made to live the life that you deserve. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter if the nurse at the emergency room doesn't believe your pain is an 8 or a 10. It doesn't matter if your doctor says that he is going to have to change your one of your medications because the government and the DEA are cracking down. It doesn't matter if your mom doesn't believe you, or that your spouse is not supportive and thinks that you're just trying to get out of housework. Whatever it is, believe me, I've heard all of these and much, much more. It doesn't matter, because you know that you're doing the best you can and you are making proactive changes a little bit at a time to take back your life. So let me ask you a question. I've been talking for probably a good hour now. I'm not looking at the time because I'm just talking. And I know when I get on these classes, because I'm really interested in things, I'm always learning and always growing. So I listen to a lot of these online classes or online programs. But when we get to this point in it, I'm usually feeling overwhelmed and like I've been drinking out of a fire hose. And although I've picked up some things along the way, how the heck am I going to make this work for me and in my life and for my situation? Now, I've put this together in a cool package for you, and I just want to know if it's something you want to hear about. I've already got this working in my life. Obviously, I'm doing pretty well, and I want to share that with you, but I only want to share it if you're interested in hearing it. If you're not, I will call it a night and go have some nice dinner or whatever, or go spend some time with my family. But if you want to know about it, I would love to share it with you, because I think everybody deserves to kill their chronic pain and live the life they deserve. If a couple of you could just comment in the comments box, and I would know that you care and want to listen to it or are excited about it, I would be glad to share it. If you're not, awesome. But if you are, please let me know. Oh, Kevin says they're pouring in. Just like that water hose. I like firemen. All right, that was weird. Let's go ahead and move on then. So, I call this Painkillerz Protocol. For the purposes of this, I designed something and I created it and thrown it all in one huge, amazing package to help kill your chronic pain and get you the life that you want and the life that you deserve and have always been deserving of living. And I call it Painkillerz Protocol. And in it, you might be asking, well, what am I going to get? Well, what you're going to get is a 6-week Painkillerz Protocol Masterclass. Everything you need to kill chronic pain and reclaim your life, the life you've always imagined living. I've got 6 modules planned for this. You got to have faith, mind over matter, your protocol, decide to thrive, mastermind energy, and brainy senses. And I've just given them those names because I put different modules and different lessons in each of those classes. But what I really want to do is with a group of you. The first group, I want to go through this live. I've created segments of it, but I want to go through it and teach it to you live so that I can make sure I don't miss anything. So I get your questions answered, and I make sure I include and touch on absolutely everything that will make this a no-brainer and super duper effective for you. After a bad car accident, 49 days in the hospital, and 17 surgeries with no end in sight, I was ready to give up. One of the nurses told me to hang in there. That night I found Painkillerz, and within just 8 months, everything has changed for me. Katie Rush. So you're probably thinking, who is this for? What's this all about? And, you know, is this even for me? And is it really going to include everything that I need? Well, if you're a chronic pain patient already, or if you have chronic pain in your life, this is positively, absolutely for you. If you don't have chronic pain, but you think you may in the future, this is for you as well. And the truth is, if you know anyone that has chronic pain and you want to help them and you love them, and you know that they're maybe not ready for this themselves, but that you knowing it can help them and really, really help them, not just sort of relate to them, but seriously impact and improve their lives, then this is for you too. Because this is, and this will actually work for you too. This is more of a perfect health and ensuring perfect health plan than it really is just a kill your chronic pain plan. My daughter has had chronic pain since she was 15 and fell snowboarding. I got Painkillerz to help her. It only took a little bit of bribery to get her to use it. Thanks for giving me my daughter back. Alice McDonald. George is actually one of my business coaching students, and he's This is what he had to say. So he's both a painkillers coaching student. I tried it out on him, and he's one of my business coaching students. And he said, I've had pain as long as I can remember. I was born sick, but I've always dreamed of having my own business. Painkillers protocol made it possible. Thanks, Sharon. George Engel. And Kim says, I was not sure painkillers would work for me. I've always been a very unique case according to my doctors. How many of us have heard that before? Oh, your case is so different, we can't figure it out. So I was super skeptical, but 2 weeks later, I knew I'd found the right solution for me. Watch out, world. Kim is back. Kim White. So the number one main reason I get as I'm working with people one-on-one on this, and I've done a couple of small groups, but I want to make this available to a lot more people, is that, Sharon, I'm one of those people who doesn't have anything. I have not really done much except what my doctors have told me. I've been counting on them and relying on them to fix me. I always believed, and I always grew up thinking that they were the experts and they would be able to help me and fix me. And I haven't really explored or done much else outside of that. And you're not alone. The vast majority of chronic pain patients, the vast majority, have not done or looked at all of these other things because it's overwhelming. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of things, and more becoming available every day that could help you. But we're all taught and led to believe that the doctors have all the answers. The pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, they know best. They know everything. They know what's right for me. I don't know what's right for me. And so I decided to make this not only a bonus, but I'm giving it to everybody as the free Painkillers energy shot, because I want to give you a start on this. I want to give you the right start on this. I want you to do it right. I want it to become fast and easy, and there to be no stress with it, and a no-brainer for you to start doing this for yourself. And so I'm giving you the free Painkillers energy shot. The link will be right at the end of this, but I don't want you to have any reason to say or feel like you're behind me or other people by not having done this yet. I want you to start today to change your life. I want you to start today to get your life back. I want you to start today to say, fuck it, chronic pain. I'm killing you. I'm done with you. You are not going to run my life anymore. Sorry if anybody's offended by my swearing, but sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes getting really mad at your chronic pain and saying, I'm not going to take it anymore. Screw that. I'm not going to take it anymore. Because for me, it took me getting angry. It took me getting angry at my doctors and the experts. And I wasn't like angry at any particular one doctor or expert. I was frustrated at the whole machine, the whole system that I knew had failed me, because I believed my whole life that that was the answer. And it was devastating and heartbreaking to me to find out that they can't help everybody. And the truth is, they don't help most people. Think about that for a minute. Most people that are really, really hurt and in pain and sick with illnesses and diseases, guess what? Most of them die. Well, we all die in the end, but most of us die because of things like that, because the doctors are just practicing medicine. They don't have everything, and they don't even understand the human body beyond being able to try to diagnose, and they can only diagnose things that they can figure out. Most things they can't even test for or figure out. And then once they come up with a diagnosis, all they can do is put in place the protocol or the procedures that they've been trained in by the pharmaceutical companies. Don't get me started there, because in case you don't know it, the pharmaceutical companies are the ones that train and pay for all the doctors. And I can't even go there. Anyway, so you're going to get this by staying to the end. I'm sharing the link on about the second to the last slide so that you've got that and can get started on this. So whether you decide to do the painkiller protocol for yourself, you at least have this and can get started. Because I know after you do that, you're going to come back and you're going to do the painkiller protocol. I am 100% confident that you will do that. So what are you going to get? The 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass. That's a $3,997 value. It's a total value just for the masterclass of $3,997. But of course, there's more. I'm also adding your very own Chronic Painkillers emergency prescription, or your emergency RX. And I could put a Swiss Army knife picture here because it's like having a Swiss Army knife in your pocket. You have everything you need to deal with your chronic pain and your life at your fingertips. So what painkillers get? the chronic painkillers medicine, I call it a medicine cabinet too. Whatever you want to call it that makes you feel better and empowered, that's what I want you to call it. It's all you need to kick your chronic pain to the curb and reclaim your life. You create, as part of this, your own personal painkillers protocol, your customized perfect health plan, because that's what it's all about. And since we're all unique and we're all different, we all need our own customized system. I hate these systems and these gurus, and not in the health industry, but in the business and marketing industry, which I'm also a big part of. They teach their one-size-fits-all system, and they think that it's going to help everybody. And they get all frustrated and devastated when they find out that they only have a 1% success rate with their perfect system. Well, that's because we're all different, and we're not all going to ever fit into a one-size-fits-all system. If you don't have a customizable system, you're swimming uphill, or you're running uphill, swimming upstream, whatever, bad analogy. But with this, you'll be able to increase how often you feel awesome. You'll attract new possibilities into your life and new life experiences. You'll get people to come back into your life and your circle of friends and relationships that you've kind of let go of or put by the side. Have you done that? Have you done any of that? I know I've sure lost a lot of friendships over the years, and I would love, and I have rekindled a lot of those, but when I was really sick and really having hard times, people weren't there. People don't understand. They feel bad for you, but they don't want to be around you when you're feeling bad because it makes them feel bad. You'll always know what to do, what is best for you. You'll be able to influence your feelings of chronic pain and kick it out of your life. You'll have your service providers actually getting you what you need. You'll be able to rejoin the living and say yes to events. Have you ever had to say no to an event? No, I can't go to the baby shower. No, I can't come to your bridal shower. No, I can't come to your birthday party. No, I can't go out for dinner. Because you know that you're going to pay for it later on. Even if you're kind of feeling good enough that you could get up and go, you know that tomorrow, or maybe the whole weekend, or maybe for 3 or 4 days, you're going to go into a tailspin and feel terrible. So there's this whole, I call it FOMO, this fear of missing out. You will be able to let go of the fear of missing out because you're going to be able to say yes to those events. You're going to be able to go to the parties. You're going to be able to try and do new things that you've always said no to because you're afraid of how you're going to feel after you participated in that activity. That, and you're going to watch your health, your energy, your personal power, your happiness, your sleep, everything's soar. Your whole life is just going to get so much better. It's going to feel like a miracle to you. You're going to look back on today, the day you watched this little web class, and you're going to say, oh my God, why didn't anybody tell me about this sooner? Why didn't anybody show me this or share this with me sooner? You're also going to be able to get rid of, with your painkillers or perfect health protocol, not knowing what to do. You're going to be able to get rid of your fear of the future. You're going to be able to look forward to and be excited about your future again. All your doubts, all your worries over life issues are going to be so much easier to handle. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you're never going to hurt again, or that you're never going to get a broken heart, or you're never going to get your feelings hurt, or you're never going to get pissed or angry or mad or sad or anything again, because we're all human beings, and that is who we are. We are the sum total of all of our experiences, which includes all of our feelings, all of our emotions, everything. And we wouldn't want to not have any of that ever again, because then life would just be a milquetoast blah, and nobody wants that. But you can let go of the fear of missing out. You can participate in the things that make you excited and happy to be alive again. You will have emotional and relationship challenges, but they won't be due to chronic pain being a huge overriding factor in your life. You're going to be able to let go of insurance and government obstacles, pharmaceutical industry, pharmacy challenges, doctor challenges, whatever, and much, much more. All by myself and all by yourself now, you can know with certainty what is in your best interest to kill chronic pain and get your life back. Get back to living your life, the life that you've always wanted. So what are you going to get? 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass, a $3,997 value. The Chronic Painkillers RX Prescription Medicine Cabinet Toolkit, Swiss Army Knife, whatever you want to call it, it is going to save your life and give you your life back. That's a $2,564 value. It's a total value of $6,561 so far. But wait, of course there's more. What else do you need? What else do you need to know that this is exactly what you need to get your life back on track right now? Well, how about emergency painkillers? This is actually, again, the picture of me where I had my sudden cardiac arrest. And this is a reenactment. This is the day we were selling this building, which I actually just went to their grand opening. It was incredible. I'm so excited for these guys. But before we left, I had my son take a quick picture of me because this is exactly where I had my sudden cardiac arrest. And now I know there was a videotape of it, but I never watched it. Who wants to see themselves die? But luckily I did die in this location because the bartender walked through, because he had gone to the bathroom. He walked through and he saw me and he looked and he's like, oh my God, she's not breathing. And fortunately for me, he knew CPR and he helped keep me going and my, blood or air circulating through my body until the paramedics could get there and then the police could get there and they could jumpstart me with the defibrillator paddles, and the rest is history. Well, it wasn't history for about a week or so, but the rest is history now because I'm obviously talking to you. But emergency painkillers help me and will help you to do what others say is impossible. It's what I call it, AAA or roadside assistance for your chronic pain. It's all the emergency instructions, strategies for any situation that comes up. My painkillers cheat sheets, my painkiller secrets, my swipe file from our successful tests, all my successful tests that I've run on myself, so that if I've done something that was completely nonsense and you can check out my results and say, yeah, I was going to try that, but now I'm not even going to try this. I'm going to try this other thing instead because I think I might get better results. And then you might still go and try something that didn't work at all for me, and you'll find out that is the thing that makes a difference for you. But that's the power of having all of this information available at your fingertips. My successful emergency action plans, and I learned those in corporate America. You always have an emergency action plan. What do you do if your business floods? Why do I have that, or why do I know that? Because that happened to my business. I had an emergency action plan. I knew exactly what to do. So in the midst of that emergency, I didn't have to struggle and stress and freak out about, okay, what am I going to do now? I already knew what to do and I knew what I would do in advance. And I just put that plan in place. Same thing here. My quick chronic painkillers tricks and tips. My go-to resources for help and support, whatever you need. My painkillers lessons learned and success secrets, not sex secrets. I can't help you there. My secret tools. And I have a secret tool that I created for myself after my sudden cardiac arrest. I did a whole bunch of trainings and systems and other people's things. And like I said, I learned from all of that the one thing you have to do is make anybody's system or procedure or process your own. And so I made my own tool up, my own secret tool that I've used for years now. And it's made an incredible difference in my life because it's a conglomeration of all of the tools and all the strategies that worked for me in the past. And I created it, and I want to share that with you and so much more. So emergency painkillers takes you from chronic pain and no life to experiencing the life of your dreams. And if that's what you want, then this is for you. So what are you going to get? The 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass, a $3,997 value. The Chronic Painkillers RX, a $2,564 value, and the Emergency Painkillers, a $1,997 value. It's a total value of $8,558. I always loved cooking and dreamt of teaching other people how to cook, but I could not get out of the house. Fibromyalgia was ruining my life and making me a prisoner in my own body. Emergency Painkillers gave me my life back. I now lead cooking classes 3 days a week. Tina Tully. Tina is also one of my business coaching students. So what more will help you? What can I add to this package and as a bonus that will help you get what you need to kill your chronic pain and kick it to the curb? How about a ninja? Your own little pain assassinator. I love ninjas. My daughter was a vampire ninja one year for Halloween, and ever since then I've just fallen in love with ninjas. So Painkillers Assassinations, it's your personal painkillers action plan, a step-by-step map of what to do and how to do it and when to do it, just for you. It's the exact items for killing your chronic pain, not Sally or Sam or Joe or Jack or Jenny or Broomhilda's, but your chronic pain and how to transform your life. Processes, procedures, and systems for getting exactly what you need to kill your chronic pain. Insurance handling, doctors and specialist interactions, how to talk to your doctor when he tells you that he's going to cut back on your medication because the DEA says he has to. What are you going to say? What's your comeback? What kind of a conversation is that going to be? We go through that in Painkillers Assassinations. How to handle your pharmacist when he says, well, your insurance is only going to pay for X number of pills this month because they've cut you down from 240 to 180, but your doctor prescribed 240. How are you going to handle that? How to handle the government, how to handle associations, how to talk to insurance company, how to handle anything that comes up with respect to your health. And a lot of what you learn can also be applied to other areas of your life. You know, I've actually used some of these strategies in dealing with my cell phone provider or my internet service provider. You get the security in knowing that you're not alone. And there's so much power in that, because how many times are you really hurting and you feel like it's only you, it's just you. Nobody else has ever felt as bad, or nobody else is going through this, because we feel isolated, we feel alone. We actually isolate ourselves. We push people away because we don't want to inconvenience them. We don't want them to feel bad because we're feeling bad. And so sometimes this journey is really, really lonely. And I want you to know, and I put this in here so that you know you're never alone. You don't have to be alone. We've paved the way so that you can have smooth sailing through all of the things that make your journey with chronic pain difficult. They don't have to be difficult anymore. So again, with Painkillers Assassinations, with great power comes great responsibility. You could use some of these things that we teach you in this section of the training to actually hurt other people, or to harm, you know, some of these organizations that you feel have harmed you. And I want to ask again that we all go out and we make the world a better place. As we feel better, we share ourselves with the world, and we contribute what we're here to contribute, and we experience from the world what we're here to experience, and we make it a better place. And we use these things just to help us and get our needs met, not ever to hurt or harm anybody else. So what are you going to get? Again, 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass, a $3,997 value. The Chronic Painkillers Prescription, a $2,564 value. The Emergency Painkillers, a $1,997 value. The Painkillers Assassinations, a $1,997 value. It's a total value of $10,555. I did not always look this way. Up until a few months ago, I was a depressed and often suicidal chronic pain patient. The last straw was when my doctor of 14 years told me he could no longer prescribe my medications. I was desperate and did not know what to do. A friend from church told me about Painkillers Assassinations. I got my medications back and so much more. For the first time in years, I am happy to be alive. Renee Zeller. So what else? What do you need to know? What do you need? What's one more thing that I can give you, that we can give you as part of this package to get your needs met? How about our private community, Chronic Painkillers Private Community, our VIP program? Who else wants a safe place to interact with people who are on a similar journey? Those that really get it. Now, there's a lot of chronic pain support groups on the internet. There's forums, there's groups, there's Facebook groups. Just about every social media group has something with respect to chronic pain that you can join and you can listen to. And I'm a part of a lot of those groups. But what I find is that I can only be on them for like 5 minutes a day because they're really, really sad. I hear people's stories that just break my heart. And I don't want my heart broken. I want people that are proactively working toward taking control of their life and getting their life back and killing their chronic pain. And that's what this private community is all about. We're all on a journey, and we support and we love one another, and we understand and we commiserate with each other, but we also always offer up a solution, a positive way to move forward. We allow everybody to experience how they're feeling, but we don't let you stay stuck there. Because what I found is the worst part of my pain journey has been when I get into a funk and I feel sorry for myself, and I still do that sometimes. I'm gonna tell you, I wake up some days and my hips hurt so bad I can't get out of bed, just like they did last May. And I can try to go into a pity party and feel sorry for myself, or I can use some of the things that I know and have at my disposal to get myself out of it as quickly as possible and find a solution. So the difference between the old me and the new me is how long I let myself stay hurting, how long I let myself stay in my little pity party and feel sorry for myself before I say, no, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to try, because I'm not going to stay there. Because I know the more I feel sorry for myself, the more I feel bad, the more I focus on the pain, the more negative feelings and emotions I pull up, the more my hips are going to hurt. And I don't want that. I say no to that quicker and quicker every day now. And that's what this group helps you to do. You get lifetime access, support for your journey and you, whatever you're going through. You get your questions answered and expert help like super fast. It is the most responsive, amazing group of individuals I've ever met. You never feel alone again because you know that there's other people striving, and you know, our journey isn't a straight line to success and perfect health. Our journey is a bumpy road. It's uphill and downhill, just like our pain is. The Painkillers community has been a real time and lifesaver for me. Even with chronic pain, I have to work full time to support my family. Recent divorce left me a single mom with no income. The Painkillers community showed me the love and support I needed to get me through some very dark times. Thanks for all the love and questions answered, Michelle Tracy. So again, what are you going to get? A quick recap. 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass, a $3,997 value. Chronic Painkillers Prescriptions, or RX, a $2,564 value. Emergency Painkillers, a $1,997 value. And Painkillers Assassinations, My Little Ninjas, a $1,997 value. Plus the Painkillers Private Community, a $997 value. That is a total value of $11,552. Now, if all this did was finally show you exactly how to kill your chronic pain, would it be worth it? Would it be worth $11,552 to kill your chronic pain? If all this did was help you to share your life with more people and stop missing out on things, would it be worth it? If all this did was let you create and live the life you were born to live, would it be worth it? If all this did was give you the ability to create the life you want versus the one that you've had to settle for, would it be worth it? And if all this did was show you how to end your struggle with chronic pain, would it be worth it? Well, I had two choices when I was putting this package together. The first option was I could go really as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, but there really wasn't much incentive in it for me to really stack on the value and give you everything you need to kill your chronic pain and kick it to the curb once and for all and reclaim your life. So my second option requires a little bit higher investment, but in exchange, I can devote more resources to guarantee your success. So what's killing chronic pain and getting your life back worth to you? What's the value of what you're missing out on? What's the cost of your chronic pain? Have you ever done that? I actually kind of did the math on that, and it was millions of dollars. And that doesn't even include the business income that I could have generated if I wouldn't have had pain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the emotional, physical, mental, psychological, and spiritual cost. What are all those costs? What is your chronic pain costing you? All those aspects of your life are impacted by chronic pain. What's the cost of that? And how can you ever get that back? How long can you keep going on like this? How long can you go without breaking? And another reason I stay out of the chronic pain groups is people threaten suicide in there. And that breaks my heart because I know exactly what that feels like. And I know that it doesn't have to be that way. No matter how much you're hurting and how bad your situation is, I know with 100% certainty that it doesn't have to be that way. You know, me, I would have paid anything to know what was causing my pain and anything more to have it magically disappear. But there was no such luck. I didn't get a diagnosis. I didn't ever find out even what was causing my pain, much less, and my chronic illnesses, much less a magic cure. And here's a really interesting thing I didn't share. When I went to the rheumatologist and got tested again, I have been told all these years that I had rheumatoid arthritis, and I probably, you know, I had rheumatoid arthritis, and that's what part of what the root cause of all my issues were. And when I went to the rheumatologist, he said the test came back and I don't have rheumatoid arthritis. So how can that be? Inquiring minds want to know. I don't care. I'm just glad it's gone, right? So I guess some things can magically disappear. This one, just as a measure of what it's worth, this one cost me, this is my sudden cardiac arrest, just in medical costs alone, it cost me $429,450 and so much more because I lost income in my business. I lost time in my business. Fortunately, my son could step in and take care of it, but I lost so much more than just the medical costs on this one incident alone. So you can see why people are paying me and paying us $25K to set up their painkillers or their perfect health protocol for them. You can see why it's a good deal at $5,000. And right now it's $29.97 for the general public. But because you're here listening to me and I want you to have this so badly, I want you to do this with me live. I want you to do it with me live so we can create an awesome program that not only helps you and kills your chronic pain, but helps hundreds and hundreds of other people. Because you're here, because you're listening to all my ramblings for over an hour now, I want to offer this to you. You can get started right now for just $997 today. You can get started at www.special.chronicpainkillerswithaz.com. So what are you going to get? The 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass, a $3,997 value. The Chronic Painkillers RX, a $2,564 value. The Emergency Painkillers, a $1,997 value. The Painkillers Assassinations, a $1,997 value. And the Painkillers Private Community, a $997 value. That's a total value of $11,552 for just $997 one-time payment today. But to sweeten the deal a little bit more, I've been talking about these groups online. We actually have a private Facebook group called Painkillers. And actually the private group is called Chronic Painkillers with a Z. And I also have a Facebook page called Painkillers that anybody is welcome to check out. I share a lot of information and a lot of stories and a lot of Facebook Live videos there. Please check that out. I think you'll be really glad that you did. But the group is a private group and it's called Chronic Painkillers, and you get free lifetime access with your investment today. So you get lifetime access to all of this, but if for any reason you were concerned about membership staying forever in our community, you always have access to this Facebook group as long as Facebook exists. And even if Facebook doesn't exist someday, because there are people that believe it might not exist someday, there will be something else and we will have a group there. So now you have two choices. I had two choices when I was creating this, and now you have two choices. You can follow the first option, do nothing and not risk this little, or take this little leap of faith, which is 100% risk-free, by the way, which I'm going to share in a minute. Or your second option is to pony up the small investment today compared to all the value you're going to get in return and just give it a shot. Now, I have a philosophy that if I can't help you kill your chronic pain and get your life back, then I do not want your money. And that's why I have a 30-day money-back guarantee. You sign up today. If you don't like it for any reason, I don't care if it's 29 days, 23 minutes, or 23 hours and 59 minutes from now, just let me know and I will give you your money back. We'll give you your money back. I want to help you. This is all about helping you. I never want you to feel like you're doing something that you can't do or that isn't right for you. Again, you can get started now at www.special.chronicpainkillerswithaz.com. The real question is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Which, if it does even half of what I've claimed today on this training, will pay for itself as soon as you take the first stab at killing your chronic pain? That's the question. So again, what are you going to get? 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass, a $3,997 value. The Chronic Painkillers RX, a $2,564 value. The Emergency Painkillers, a $1,997 value. The Painkillers Assassinations, a $1,997 value. And the Painkillers Private Community, a $997 value. Again, a total value of $11,552 for your one-time payment of $997 today. And for the first 17 people, for the first fast action takers, I am going to do live weekly Q&A calls. I want to make sure that you can get your specific questions answered on this one-time only live Q&A calls. You saw what I get paid for helping people go through this one-on-one, $25K. So my time has gotten to be really, really valuable. But I want to do these calls live and record them and put them in the members area so that everybody can have access to them. But for you first 17 fast action takers, I want you to be able to be on the calls and interact with me and get your specific questions and needs met live and in person. And if for some reason you can't be on the call, they'll be recorded so you can listen to them. And if you're one of the first 17, you can Voxer me or email me your questions and we will make sure that they get answered on the calls. So if you're currently suffering with chronic pain or chronic illness, then you really need this. If you know somebody who suffers from chronic pain, you need this so that you can really, really help them. If you don't have chronic pain, but you're afraid that you might in your future, you need this so you can make sure that you do everything in your power to avoid ever becoming a chronic pain sufferer or chronic illness sufferer by creating your own perfect health protocol. I've shown you some really powerful things today. I've shown you that the only way to get your life back is through killing your chronic pain, and that the only way to kill your chronic pain is through painkillers. I love this little graphic. It's the chance of success. It goes from 0 when you say I won't, to 10% when you say I can't, to 20% when you say I don't know how, to 100% when you say I did and you've done it. And we help you with chronic painkillers every step of the way to get you from I don't know how, because you got to meet us a little way, to 100% I did it. If you're in the I won't or I can't or this won't work for me category, you're right. You won't and you can't. And it's not possible for you because you're not open enough to even believe that it is possible for you. I am 100% sure this is possible for absolutely anyone experiencing chronic pain and illness. It will help anyone and everyone who has chronic pain and illness, as long as they're willing to be open enough to give it a try. So what are you going to get? 6-week Chronic Painkillers Masterclass, a $3,997 value. The Chronic Painkillers RX, a $2,564 value. The Emergency Painkillers, a $1,997 value. Painkillers Assassinations, $1,997 value. And Painkillers Private Community, a $997 value. It's a total value of $11,552 plus the fast action bonuses. If you get started today, get started right now for just $997 today. I'm going to stay on the line and answer some questions. If you don't get your questions answered right away, if you're not right up in the queue, but you know you want to be one of the fast action people and be on those calls live, go ahead. Go to www.special.chronicpainkillerswithaz.com right now. Reserve your spot. And if you still have questions, you can get online with our support at chronicpainkillers.com, or you can message me through that same line and I will make sure that you get your questions answered. And we've got the money back guarantee. So if for some reason when your question gets answered, you decide you've changed your mind, boom, no brainer, get your money back. But I know this can work for you. So let's see what we've got for questions. Sorry, I got to juggle them and wade through them kind of myself. My helper has fallen off the line. I don't know, technology. Not necessarily my strong suit, but I do the best I can. Tiffany says that her doctors have told her that there's nothing that they can do. So how can she know that this will work for her? Well, Tiffany, I don't know if you missed my story early on, but not just one doctor told me that nothing would work for me and that I would just have to get used to it. I heard it from dozens of doctors and dozens of specialists and dozens of people that were supposed to be looking out for my best interests and able to cure me. And I had to decide whether I was going to believe what they told me and think that they knew best what was going on in my body and in my mind and in my spirit and in my being and in my life, or if I knew what was best and if I knew that I could figure it out. Now, I only ever spent about 15 to 25, maybe a half an hour with any one of these given specialists or people. Now, at that time, I had spent 21 to 24 years in my own skin and in my own body and had experienced everything firsthand. So does a doctor who spent 20 minutes with me and has seen me maybe once every 3 months for a year, does he know what's going on with me and what's possible? Or do I know better what's going on with me and what's possible? And I will tell you with 100% certainty at, well, 58 years old tomorrow, I know that I know everything I need to know, and everything I need to heal myself and to live a great life is already inside me. It's not in any doctor. It's not in any expert. It's not in anybody I'm related to. It's right inside me, and it's inside you too, Tiffany. I hope that answers your question. JJ says he is such a unique case and such a bad case. He doesn't think that anything can help him. And JJ, I'm going to play tough love with you here. And I'm going to say, if you don't think anything can help you, if you in your heart don't think anything can help you, then it can't and you're doomed. But if you have any inkling in you, even a teeny crack of light and desire and hope, even one cell of your body, if it has the belief that something can help you, something can help you. You can get better. You can be cured of whatever it is that other people have told you is going on with you. I've seen it in my life time and time again. You guys, I was dead. I was dead for a long time and in a coma and had being frozen for over a week. And I woke up fine for the most part. Okay, I don't remember some stuff, but I'm getting older, so maybe that's got something to do with it. And there's a few things and a few little memories that I've lost, but for the most part, I can still talk. I can still function. I'm here. I can do almost everything I could do and much, much more now because I've changed some of the things that were harming me and continuing to contribute to what didn't work for me and my body and my life back then. And I know that you can too, JJ, but you got to be open to it. You have to just be willing to say, is it possible? And could it help me? And what have you got to lose? If you're really feeling that low and that bad and that sad and that depressed, what have you got to lose? What have you got to gain? I think you've got a lot more to gain than you have to lose. I'm getting a bunch of questions about a payment plan. And I'm going to share my philosophy about payment plans. I have been involved in a lot of coaching programs and I bought a lot of products over the years in my business life and in my personal life and for my health as part of this. And my ex-husband and I were involved in a bunch of really high ticket, very expensive, like $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $6,000 a month type programs that taught us about real estate investing. And we were in that group with people that paid up front like we did and people that paid month by month. And interestingly enough, we noticed that the people that paid up front like us were 10 times more likely to actually take action and do something with the program than the people that paid month to month and that had a payment plan. And every time we entered into one of those programs, we had already had a plan before we started to get all our money back and much, much more, but for sure to recoup our investment. So if we paid $25,000 was the first high ticket coaching program we went to, we already had a real estate deal that we had in the works that was going to net us $47,000 before we even joined that program. And we actually joined that program to get one idea, one form that they had that they used in their negotiations. So we paid $25,000 for that one form. Now we got a whole lot more out of that program than that, but we were willing to do that. And because we were willing to take action, we had incredible results. You know, we had testimonial type results in all the programs we ever participated in. But that's the difference between the people that pay up front and the people that have a payment program. Now, I will tell you, PayPal actually has a no interest, no payments for 6-month payment program for people in the United States only on purchases over $99. So you could actually get this today for free if you get approved by PayPal credit. And it's pretty easy to do. If you don't have a PayPal account, you can just follow this link on the chronicpainkillers.com page. There's a link to PayPal on there, and you can just follow that link and you could set up a PayPal account and you can apply for the credit and get that right now today. So in 6 months, how much better will you be feeling 6 months from now when you get this and you start today and you actually apply some of these things to your life? You won't even believe the difference. Let me ask you a question. How much does one procedure at the doctor's office cost? How much does one of your pain prescriptions cost? My son has one prescription and he takes about 36 different things right now. One of his prescriptions alone is $2,700 a month. Think about that for a minute. So to me, getting your life back, killing your chronic pain, even if you can just reduce one type doctor visit a year, it's worth it. Even if you can reduce one prescription, it's worth it. I just saw in the forums one lady had to pay $997 for the difference in her prescription in 1 month, and she didn't know how she was going to make her house payment this next month because she used all the family's savings to get her pain medicine because the insurance company said no, they wouldn't pay for it, and or they would only pay for a certain amount of it. And she was so desperate because her pain is so bad. And in order for her to even be able to function at all, she took all of the family's savings and paid that difference to the pharmacist for 1 month's supply of one medication. And that's happening to more and more people. That's, again, why I can't be on the pain groups, because I can't hear their heartbreaking stories over and over and over again. I just want them to try this and do this, and I know it'll change their life, just like I know it'll change your life. But if you need that, PayPal's on the page. I am going to pop off here now. Go ahead and continue to put your questions in the questions box, and I will answer them all. I promise I won't quit today until I've answered all your questions, but I do have to pop off the line because my phone rang and I have to return that phone call. I want to thank you for joining us today. Here's that bonus link I was telling you about to the Painkillers Energy Shot. Go ahead, sign up there, and every day in your inbox you will get delivered a new and amazing strategy that can change your life and will change your life if you start incorporating and using it in your daily activities or whenever you need a little booster. Again, don't delay. Start your new life today. Get started now at special.chronicpainkillerswithaz.com. Get started now. Change your life. Take your life back. Join me and let's see what we can do together. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day.